Let's get busy.
All right, guys. Kevin Hale up in the Baxter's 942 house on this Tuesday, October 9th, 2018. It is episode 355 for our on-site recording. 5 segments tonight. First up, segment number 1, recommended by my new BFF, Caroline Knopp, the lovely Tawana Bain. Tawana is with AFMThreads. She's a New York girl. We're going to explore how the New York girl came down south and figure that out. And my new buddy, Shaun Escobar.
What's up, man?
DJ Equip. Shaun, I teased it earlier, but I got to ask, any relationship to... I know some Escobars.
Right.
Should I be? But the ones I know are from the History Channel. And
right.
Anything to worry about there?
Nah, man, I'm probably the brokest Escobar you ever seen. You ain't got to worry about that.
Are you inheritance or anything? No?
You got nothing coming.
Right.
Ain't a dollar coming, man.
If I'm out of line, just give me this little
about
gesture to nix it. But all right, guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Start with you, Tawana. Again, I mentioned New York girl. How long? Give me the little 411.
All right. Well, and I'm right here with DJ Equip. It's not an exciting story, but I will tell you.
Let the audience
decide if it's exciting.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. So I left New York. Actually, came to Louisville by way of Miami. So I lived in Miami, a couple of blocks from South Beach, saw everything under the sun.
You can imagine.
And realized that I couldn't stay there with 2 kids. Unfortunately, my Miami people have no filter at all, especially those down on South Beach. So,
were you getting from the kids, "Mommy, what does that mean?" Or what is that?
When you had to tell your kids to close their eyes on the elevator, it's time to move.
Okay. Fair enough.
So, anyways, I came to Louisville with 3 bags and 2 kids. My current job asked me to come up here, and after about 3 months of asking, I finally took it and drove on up from Florida. It was an 18-hour trip. There was about 6 cars of people that were relocating with the job, and I've been here ever since.
Is this with the AFM Threads?
It is not.
Okay,
it is not.
Right.
So actually, when I first arrived to Louisville, I was knocking on doors for one of Bell South's marketing arm, helping businesses to reactivate or reacquire their business. Shortly after that, I had a local business owner that was starting a payroll company, needed some help. She had her hands full with some other things, so I started her payroll company. It went from a few papers in an envelope to a full-fledged payroll company, 6 staff, over 100 clients processing payroll. I hit a wall. Or should I say a ceiling, and decided I wanted to venture out on my own. So AFM is my current passion, if you will, in business, but I have dabbled in some other things. And so, did I answer your question?
You did, but also NAC.
Okay. What you got over there? What you reading?
It's your bio. Some people would call it stalking. I call it research.
Oh God! As long as that's all you're reading from, as long as you're not reading from no text messages, no Facebook message,
no your Bumble page, your Tinder page.
All right. Yeah. So, and I started with a call center. Went back to what I got through college with at one point. We were making appointments and doing lead generation for some local businesses. And after about 2 years of running the call center, clients just began throwing all sorts of stuff at us. And one day I just felt like we were the jack of all trades and decided to really figure out who we were, what we're doing, what we were really great at. And we reorganized ourselves into a project management company. And I like to tell people we speak 3 languages, and that's marketing, corporate events, and promotional product solutions.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Thank you.
3 languages.
Thank you.
It is.
So almost went broke, okay, and had like nothing because I lost some major contracts due to funding, et cetera, and decision maker changes. And so I went to a friend and suggested that we diversify her business. And she was into women's clothing at the time, and I was going to do men's. I talked to my son, said, hey, would you want to do this? He said, absolutely. So we were like ready to rock and roll. And about 2 months or maybe a month before we launched, she called and said she didn't want to do it anymore. So I was like, holy smokes. I had to pull myself up and not take it personal, right? Because business is business, and personal is personal. My son was extremely excited about getting going. Needless to say, I moved forward, spent a lot of money, and 2 months later, my son said, I want to be an entrepreneur.
How old is he at this?
He's 22.
Okay.
He's 22. Wasn't his thing. It wasn't his lane. So mom had to keep it going, right? Because I had taken the money that I did have to get that going after NAC was going through what it was going through. And then by luck, preparation, opportunity, and quite a few blessings, we opened up in Mall St. Matthews back in March. Supposed to be a pop-up, but we ended up staying.
That's a great location, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And with the AFM threads, for him, for her, clothing for the everyday guy and gal, from play threads to elegant threads. We have something for everyone. Elaborate on that little mission statement.
Well, so going back, so when I first started, it was supposed to just be men. And then a dear friend of mine, Ashley Anderson, she asked, hey, if I was to help you with this, would you be interested in expanding into women's? And I said, absolutely. So that was in January of 2018. Yes, that's correct. January 2018. So then we launched and we added the for her. So I like to laugh and tell people all the time, they're like, what does AFM stand for? Well, the truth is it used to stand for All for Men.
All right.
And then my team got really creative and said, that's okay, we have women's now, so technically we're all for mankind. So I didn't have to change the name again, thank God. And so when I lived in Miami, New York, France, visiting LA, France. Chicago, Atlanta, yes, lived in France for a stint. One thing that I always enjoyed was being able to find really, really cool, trendy, chic, unique fashions and not breaking the bank. And I found that when I came to Louisville, everybody, for the most part, dressed the same. Or, I would have to wonder if I would be overdressed. That's never something you should worry about, right?
If you were coming from France to here, you became a trendsetter.
Well, I didn't come from France to here, right? I came from here to Miami.
Okay.
However,
but still, all right, from Miami to here,
and I don't want to say I'm a very humble person, but I will be honest with you. Even when I went to France, I was a trendsetter.
Facts are facts, though.
They're facts, but I've always loved fashion, so I was always willing to dare to do something that another person may not be willing to do. And ironically enough, people will say, oh my God, you look so good in that. I could never pull that off. But the truth of the matter is you could if you wanted to, right? If you really wanted to, screw what anybody else has to say. So at any rate, I wanted to bring that trendy, chic, unique style and fashion to Louisville. I basically wanted for Louisvillians to feel as though all these major cities threw up right here in our backyard. And that's what AFM is. You're going to come in and you're going to find something from 9 to 5, something for after 5, trendy again. You're not going to look like someone that looks, you don't want anybody to look like you across the room. And then, it's affordable, so I like to say that you get a celebrity look without breaking the bank.
That's a cool. I like that.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Another dope slogan.
Another.
Thank you. Well, I do have marketing in my background.
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
A lot of sound bites here. Again, I'm with Tawana Bain and Shaun Escobar. Shaun, jump in. What's your story?
Well, coming off the back of her story, I'm a janitor. That's it.
Gosh,
We'll clean it up. Let's clean it up.
No, actually, man, I'm Shaun Escobar on Facebook, man. Everybody knows me by that. DJ Equip out in the entertainment world, I guess you want to say, the Louisville urban scene. I've been a DJ for going on 7.5, almost 8 years publicly. I was, tinkering around in the basement, doing little house parties and little stuff like that prior. Nothing major. Got into the entertainment deal just by stumbling across a gentleman we spoke about earlier, Mark Maston. We went out there, and a good friend of mine who she had actually booked me out there for a Friday and it went from a Friday to a Friday and Saturday, from a Friday and Saturday to we got a big night Sunday. We started out there with that, and then just from that point on, it just everything kind of took off.
That place, I frequent that place quite a bit just for the music scene. Not into the pool thing, but pool scene there. I mean, when you're DJing there, is there a connection with you and the pool? Because it is nuts there.
Yeah. Well, my night that I do is primarily. I mean, we turn billiards into a club at that point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
Good.
You do have a few people that start playing pool, but the majority of, I would say, probably 90% of the people are there is for like
For
the entertainment.
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not only for me, but I would say for my team. That I have, you know what I'm saying? I've developed.
I'm talking about humble.
I'm trying to be humble.
You're
too,
the one behind.
But I mean, I will take the credit as far as to say I did start it. You know what I'm saying? But I do try to, share the limelight with a lot of my what I call my Allegiance brothers. I'm a DJ for the Allegiance. In a coalition called the Allegiance. And, we have a lot of talented DJs in this city that's a part of that. And we've done a lot of major events here in the city. Usually, it's 9 times out of 10 there's an Allegiance DJ or Allegiance affiliate involved in something with it. So,
where did the name DJ Equip come from?
Man, a lot of people ask me that. I think because I'm junky. You know what I'm saying?
I was thinking about your junk. I mean, is that
no,
junk?
no, definitely not my junk.
This is not a children's show.
Yeah,
we can speak freely on this show.
Definitely not about my junk, man. I promise you. I'm just a junky guy. I think more
I'll
so.
drink to this.
Is that where you wink at me like?
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. But no, actually, man, I think it's just because usually when I get into something, man, I go head first in it, and I just usually just get a little bit of everything.
Good.
And I think that Equip name kind of developed because. I mean, it's like even a lot of my younger comrades who's coming up into the game right now, they're like, dude, I'm really comfortable with this particular piece of equipment, or I'm comfortable with this or whatever. And they like, man, do you know where I can get it at? I'm like, I got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can look out for you. So I think that's kind of where it started out at. I got a lot of good guys that put me up on game, man. DJ Melly Mel was one of the first guys that put me on. And then I got a mentor right now. I don't know if U of L DJ, actually, DJ K-Dog. He has, I mean, that's my probably one of my best friends, for real. Yeah. And I mean, he teaches me a lot. So.
And share with us your location, what you do. You're right down the street here.
Yeah. Actually, the club that I have is called the Hideout. It's actually had one of the most successful party series in the last couple of years. You know what I'm saying? Every Saturday. At first it was Friday, and then we kind of migrated over to Saturdays, but it's every Saturday right now. And then billiards is on Sunday. And it's 934 Baxter Avenue. It's right, believe it or not, it's right next to this location.
Right.
So it's right behind Flanagan's Ale House. I'm sorry.
There you go. Very cool. Going back to you, Tawana, you have this event. It's weekly. Is it a weekly event or is it
we try to do it monthly.
Monthly.
Yes.
And so share with us, this is an event which you are incorporating the talents of DJ Equip.
Yeah.
What's this event all about?
So, we're a new business, AFM. So, our selfish reason for doing this is we need traffic. We have a really, really cool store with a lot of great stuff, but what good is it if nobody knows about you? So, now the unselfish reason for doing it is I am, by virtue of a French traveler, artist, fashionista, I am an arts at heart person. And I thought it would be really cool, given that it is the mall, and a lot of people, sometimes may frown upon the mall because it's not really local. So here we are, a local store. Thought, you know what? Why not begin to shed some light on a lot of the really cool artists around the city, regardless if they're writers, if they're singers, if they're poets. Speaking of poets, I'm super excited that Robin Gardner will have an opportunity to come out and give a spoken word that night.
Robin G's awesome.
She's amazing. Sometimes some of the things that she writes, it literally gives me chills. But the whole idea is to promote and highlight local artists in partnership with the store, because the mall loves the fact that we are bringing local traffic and attention to what it is that we're doing. They've been extremely accommodative with the things that we've got going on. We have libations, we have food. It's free to the public. DJ Equip gives us some really cool music behind the scenes. We have fashion show in store. It's really just an opportunity for the locals to come together, shop, drink, eat, network, hear from some really, really cool artists and have a good time.
Your next one is this Thursday, October 11th. Again, this is featuring Charles Rice.
It is.
Again, mentioning DJ Quip. What's the vibe or theme with this Thursday event?
Man, I'm going to let him speak to the musical vibe.
Okay, go.
As far as what I want to say is that it is all about love. So each event is something a little different, like love is where the art is, don't wear your art on your sleeve, etc. So the whole idea is about the love and art actually intersecting. So that's really the theme. And that's really kind of the spirit that is in the air. And I have been fortunate so far with a lot of things that I do. I just have really, really good, solid people come out to have a good time. It's always people with really good hearts. Never, do we end up with, pray to God, knock on wood anyway. With people that are, just a really, really good vibe. And I really do believe that you attract what you are. And so a lot of the people there just happen to be really, really wholehearted, good-hearted people. And that's the theme, heart and love and art.
You're a gatherer.
It's a gatherer. I am a connector.
And you're networking some people together. I'm just curious, is there a demographic that maybe you target a little more than...
I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that. One of the things that I'm known for, because I am a New Yorker, is I will always have one of the most diverse parties that anyone's ever seen. White, black, gay, straight, Hispanic, Asian, whatever. Love them all.
Yeah, exactly. We're all brothers and sisters.
We're all brothers and sisters.
It's 2018. When are we going to figure this out?
But so I've been very... a lot of people oftentimes will give me the side eye or wonder, well, how is she doing and how is she? And the easiest way to explain is I have very, very diverse groups of friends. I don't discriminate based on the color of your skin, your sexual orientation, your religion. I like good people, and good people come in all different shades, sizes, etc. I wouldn't say that I'm colorblind. Okay. I recognize color, right? Gotcha. But the beauty of recognizing color is that I recognize that there may be cultural things that I can learn from you that I may not necessarily know, right? No, and so I do my best to be intentional about friendships and relationships because I don't want to be in the dark about stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be in the dark. So anyways, anything that I ever have my hands in is going to be as diverse as I can possibly make it. So, and that's how my customer base is. Everybody shops with me, so everybody's welcome.
Very cool. And then you're going to be there doing your thing. What are you going to be doing there?
Man, I'm playing techno the whole night.
Oh my God.
We're going to get crazy
I love
there, man. I'm telling you, it's going to be some acid and all kind of shit. We're going to do a little bit of coke. No, I'm just playing. Actually, no, we're going to, I think, man,
how long will they let you go?
I don't know. You know what? It was crazy because the last one we did,
was it loud?
Well, we've had some turn up moments.
It turned into like a club moment.
Matthew. So when they're in the Cheesecake Factory, are they feeling the boom, boom, boom?
I wouldn't say we're hitting the Cheesecake Factory. Yeah. But what I will say is that we have a good time. Yeah. We have a good time, and so far the mall has been really cool.
Yeah. The silverware is starting to tingle.
Looks like a little bit, not much. Yeah.
That's when it's real.
I mean, I can't say nobody might. Somebody might twerk before the night's over.
Yeah. No one has complained.
Not at all.
Nobody has complained.
Well, okay.
This is true.
Right. Okay.
Well, we got decent people, right? Yeah. Everybody's cool. We don't.
Good.
Even from the staff at Mall St. Matthews, security and everybody.
Very receptive.
Cool.
And everything.
And even the neighbors. So
good. Dope. And this is like this Thursday from 6 till 9.
6 till 9.
And then you do a donation too.
We do. Well, I mean, it is art, right?
Exactly.
JP Davis, very, very dear friend of mine, VP over at Fund for the Arts. They've always been so supportive in so many different things that I've done. So everyone who shops that evening, 10% of their proceeds we donate back to the fund.
Very good. And again, this is a situation where you're not only gathering, you're paying forward, you're recognizing talent, you're recognizing the arts, and the arts encompasses, a lot of talented people. Projects down the road. Share with us what you got going on besides conquering the Louisville scene. What else are you trying to do?
Well, you really put me on the spot with that one.
Can you?
I will tell you that I love jazz and I love neo soul. And if I just so happen to have a venue that brings that to Louisville, be on the lookout.
Stay tuned. Breaking story. TMZ moment. And
I believe it too. I'm telling you, if she's saying it, I promise you.
can she pull it off?
It's not no bullshit. She's really gonna pull it off.
I like it.
Out of anybody in this city who said it, it's gonna crack.
That is probably, in fairness, with a lot of my music friends, I have a lot. The jazz scene, not as, populated. And there's some decent musicians here, but I think you would be onto something if you
I
could
have
pull it
some
off.
ideas.
Good. Well, good for you.
I gotta hold on, man. Wait, you said there's some. I gotta add to that.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of dope musicians here in this city. I think a lot of them haven't been discovered though.
When you
for
say
real.
dope, as in jazz musicians?
Well, I would say jazz. I would say.
no, I'm saying specific
Neo-soul?
jazz.
Just
There
jazz,
is.
yes,
Neo-soul?
absolutely.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
fair.
I've seen a lot. Seen a lot. I mean, the last, like I said, I've been in this for like 6.5 years, and I've came across some people who have absolutely blown me away.
Okay.
I mean, and it's just not. I mean, I've even met some people who was even in the rock scene that was just like basement rockers. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, wow. I don't.
Actually, that's a fair point. There is a lot of undiscovered underground talent that either it's the venues, there's not enough venues to allow them to showcase themselves, or a lot of it, unfortunately, with the venues here, and I'm going to probably get my hand smacked from some of these venues, is that they cater. Their first instincts is to book people who they know will bring in a crowd. And up and coming, they don't have that.
Yeah.
And we've got to find a way to, somehow, maybe not, mix them in with other people, and and get established musicians to work with these people, because there's a lot of talent in this town.
I've been fortunate enough to actually meet quite a few. So, and even not even with that, with DJs and everything. I mean, there's a lot of cats out here who's really they do their thing. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Great segment. Tawana, share with everybody where they can find you. I know where to find you because I've been researching on your social media. Where's your social media? Where can people connect?
Social media. You can find us at AFMThreads _ AFMThreads on Facebook. Same for Twitter, LinkedIn, and everywhere else. Or you can also visit us directly online at afmthreads.com.
What about you, Mr. Escobar?
Mr. Escobar, man, DJ Quip. Find me on social media, Shaun Escobar on Facebook, DJ Quip Events on IG, DJ Quip on Snapchat, and I think I got a Twitter page, but I'm very suddenly on it anyway, so.
There you go. Great.
But you can also find me this Thursday at AFMThreads.
That's right.
It is going down in the mall, St. Matthews.
I am going to do my best to stop by. I want to see what this is all about.
You'd appreciate it.
I think I would.
And while we're at it, let's also give a shout out to Ballatin Whiskey.
Yes.
The libation that tastes like candy.
I'm telling you, dude.
Oh, I've heard.
You got to try this.
Will there be any of that there?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Caroline's going to make sure we have a bottle
Dude,
of Ballatin.
try the turtle. I'm telling you, man.
I've heard the story. So, all right.
And don't come late because it typically goes first.
It goes away right.
does.
I'm snatching a bottle this time. I'm telling you. Just let me know.
So this Thursday at the at AFM Threads at Mall of St. Matthews.
Yes, so I do want everyone to know, you want to come in through the Victoria's Secret entrance. We
darn.
are directly across from Victoria's Secret in the Children's Place, right next door to Our House Furniture, as in ARHAUS.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Again, featured artist Charles Rice, Spirits Bites art enthusiast DJ Quip with the musical vibe. It's this Thursday from 6 to 9 p.m. Again, 10% of the proceeds will be donated to Fund for the Arts. Tawana, DJ Quip, thanks for hanging out with me. Good
You're
stuff.
so
man.
welcome.
fun.
You're a cool kid.
We're
We like you.
going to do it again.
We'll do it
hang
again.
out. I want to come out to billiards. I want to see you.
Oh my God.
wanna
Okay,
do a
if you
hideout.
go, I'll go with
All right,
See,
we'll
I
plan
can go
all
to the
that.
hideout
Yeah.
sometime.
We'll do it all. I'm not afraid.
Okay.
And I got a new spot. Hey,
I'm scared.
Check this out too. I want to plug a new spot too.
Go ahead.
On Fridays, the Planet. It's a new location.
I've not been there.
Friday
So
night?
Yeah. Yes.
Friday
Friday.
Are you
night's the Planet.
Are you?
Yep.
All right. So we
doing
just
it.
have
I got it. That's
to
on the-
stay in the loop too. I want to
Yeah.
come. I want to see you.
It's gonna be dope.
Yeah, I want to see your stuff.
Yeah. Don't worry. Yeah.
Exactly.
There you go, babe.
Comedy.
Great segment.
Great.
Thanks, guys.
Dope.
Thank
All right,
you.
Thank you.
Let's get busy.
Next up, Mr. John Wells, film industry guy. Look at, he's got that whole Clark Kent thing going on,
Is that what I'm
people.
doing?
Is that what's up, my man?
Is that my thing? Am I Clark,
Is it?
Clark Kenton?
I don't know. When you take your glasses off, does a cape come off? I don't know. I think there's a cape. There's a cape there.
There's always a
What's
cape.
been up with you, man?
Busy, working, living. You know,
Living the dream.
doing my thing.
You are
living
doing your thing.
some dream. I don't know.
You know, I'm a big fan of a mutual friend of ours, Antonio Pantolo.
know, everybody loves Antonio.
Amazing talent, even greater person. And I've been just following his work a lot lately. And you've showed up, you've surfaced on his page, and you've done a lot of stuff with him.
we collaborate as often as we can. I mean,
So that's how I got wind of you. I think you were here, you were here on a night where I was doing a segment with Sabrina Scott, a little meet and greet. But I'm glad to pin you down because looking at your page, looking at your bio, and looking at everything where your face can be, it sounds like you're involved in a lot of stuff. So I thought, let's see what John Wells is all about.
well, thanks. I appreciate you having me.
John, you said you were Louisville born and raised and all that good stuff. Give us a little history. What was John Wells like at an early age, and how did the film or the entertainment industry, bug hit you?
Yeah, well, I mean, growing up, I was always kind of the awkward, sort of nerdy, artsy kid. I didn't have a lot of friends, and I stayed alone in my bedroom a lot. Just like reading comic books and drawing pictures and watching movies, and that's just just escapism because I was uncomfortable in my own skin, and that's kind of who
Shy?
I always,
Is
very,
shy?
very, yeah.
Okay.
I've always been very, very introverted and just kind of socially awkward, I guess. But I was always just any type of escapism and immersion was just kind of my thing. That was just kind of where I lived. So I was really, really drawn to movies, and I've loved movies for as long as I can remember.
Genre, what was it?
Anything and everything. I mean, anything really fantastical that just kind of takes you, the further away. I love fantasy and sci-fi and that kind of stuff. But just anything that makes you feel,
Right.
anything. Of course, growing up, I never thought about the actual possibility of working in movies, especially growing up in Louisville, Kentucky. It just seemed so unfeasible. It's like trying, I want to be an astronaut. It's so out there.
So there's not a NASA base around here.
No, not so much. So, it was always just a big passion, just being a huge fan of film and filmmaking. So I didn't really pursue acting until, it was about 12 years ago at this point, I think.
So this is out of high school. So
Yeah, I was out of high school at the
and
point.
12
yeah.
years ago, is college is fair to say? Right.
We can say I was. Yeah, we'll go with that.
All right.
Yeah. No, but I kind of fell in with some independent filmmakers, just kind of by chance. And I was like,
I'm curious. With when did the shyness and the introvert kind of break out? And because
I'm still waiting for it to break out. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm still kind of the awkward. I was really, I mean, in high school, I was really overweight. I mean, I was morbidly obese in high school. I was like this weird goth kid. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know my place in the world. And
a lot of Marilyn Manson concerts.
I went to all that stuff. I was a metal kid. And, so that's kind of where I find my love for acting and film is. It's just I get to be someone else, and I find comfort.
So is it your escape from reality?
Yeah, well, I think it's a sort of it's an escape from both myself as well as self-exploration. Because any role that you take on, you have to find facets of yourself and dig deep and find ways to relate to these characters. So it's really kind of the ultimate exploration of self, while being allowed the freedom to do things that you would never do or never be able to do, or behave in ways that you would never feel comfortable behaving because you're someone else for the day.
Right. So I like that. So this started, you said about 12 years ago. So give us that. What was the first experience like? I mean, when you actually, is this when you say you started acting, or?
Yeah, well, I was approached in the locker room at the gym by this guy. Came up to me. He's like, "Hey, man, you ever thought about being in movies?" And of course, it's a little creepy,
But in fairness, let's be fair here. And I'm 100% hetero, but you're a damn good-looking guy.
Ooh.
So is that?
Well, thank you.
So was that part of the reason, your look?
Yeah,
then?
yeah.
Because I'm guessing at that point you were not obese.
No, I was. Yeah, I was in shape at that point, or at least relatively so. But yeah, I had a look that they were trying to find and having a hard time finding for this role. So he asked me if I'd be willing to come in for a screen test, and I
this is here in Louisville.
This was in Louisville,
Okay.
yeah. So I went in. Of course, I'd never been to anything like. I've never done an audition before or anything. So I went in and.
Whoa! So, you had the love, this love for film.
Yes.
Was all in, but as far as the acting thing, this just happened by chance. Or is that what you're saying?
Sort of. Well, I mean, it's something I always wanted.
Well, I know you
to
wanted,
try, but no, I never pursued it.
Yeah, you didn't pursue. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, continue.
Yeah, I never actually actively pursued acting prior to that.
Okay.
But I got there, and I see the camera set up, and they've got a green screen, and it's I just growing up such a fan of movies, and I was always the type of guy that would get the DVDs, watch all the behind the scenes stuff, listen to the director's commentary. I would buy the books, and I was such a fan of filmmaking and just the magic that goes in. This whole orchestra of all these different.
Way past the 2 hours that we see.
Yeah, just
soup to nuts.
how is this created?
Right.
It fascinated me, the entire collaborative art form of filmmaking. And just actually being there on a set, and it was just so cool. And I screen tested, and it went very well, and just kind of from there, I completely fell in love with it, because it was this fantasy thing, and I was swinging a sword, and and it was this epic thing. It never got made, but but it's still just, it was like all the stuff I wanted to do when I was like a 6-year-old kid in my bedroom. It was like all there in this room.
I'm amazed. I'm amazed, but not surprised, because I think shit happens, and chances are given to us, in the most creative or crazy way. But again, you show up, you're in the gym, this guy approaches you, and the next thing you know, you're on location trying out for a film or whatever, and that was the first time you'd ever done anything like that.
Yeah.
Are you still the shy guy? I mean, how are you able to, the shy introvert guy, go on location in front of cameras, in front of people, and do this tryout?
Well, it's because it's a fabricated situation.
And you understood
obviously,
it.
yeah,
Right.
But you get lost in the moment.
Gotcha.
It's I think I think a lot of the true actors out there kind of know what I'm talking about if you're listening, when you actually get in that moment. Once action is called, the cameras disappear.
Right.
You're not you anymore,
Right.
and
Okay.
there's just the sky's the limit. Anything can happen, anything and everything can and will happen, and it's just this kind of beautiful thing that just happens within you, and all boundaries are gone.
You say this is your tryout. The film didn't get. What was the reason?
No, I don't, he never really got the kind of funding behind it that he
right.
needed
Okay.
for the type of. It was a very ambitious project.
But you made an impression.
Yes.
With the right people?
Yes.
So, what's next after that?
I just, I fell in love with
you got
it.
the bug. Yeah.
And I just started networking, people that they knew, filmmakers that they knew, and just started webbing out. Of course, networking is such a huge part of what we do.
Absolutely.
But yeah, at that point, I was like, this is what I need to do. So,
Very cool.
and it eventually kind of consumed my life. And
When did the first film become a reality?
the first real thing,
Yeah.
was Overtime, which was a movie done by the Thoughtfly Studios here in Louisville. It starred myself and Al Snow, the professional wrestler.
Yeah.
We play partners in it.
Really?
Yeah.
I need to see this because I know who Al Snow is.
Okay.
I'm an Al Snow guy.
Check it out. Sabrina Scott's in it. Katie Stewart. It was directed by Matt Niehoff, Brian Cunningham, who have both become very good friends of mine. Everyone in that film, we all became really good friends. Al's one of my. I've worked with Al, several times since.
Yeah. Now, I'll to digress a little bit. Al, is part owner of OVW.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And I saw this today, and it kind of shocked me that. A little shout out to them. OVW is celebrating their 1,000th episode.
Yeah, I saw that.
And they're doing a show at 4th Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I think it's great, man.
Very cool.
Yeah. Al's an amazing guy.
Yeah.
He makes some pretty incredible things happen.
So continue.
But yeah, it's I had done a few things, some shorts, and I was so green, just really kind of just still cutting my teeth. And Matt actually reached out to me, the director, said, we're holding auditions I'm going to do my first movie. And I knew Matt a little bit from like the music scene, because we were both in bands and stuff. But
So you have a music background?
yeah, sort of.
Okay.
So I knew him a little, and I, the project sounded fun, so I went in to read, and at the time he was working at a different. They own their own commercial production studio, but at the time they were working for another one. But I went in, and there was this big, cool production studio with this huge, psych wall and this big light rigs. It was just, and it was a legit production where I was used to doing all these small little indie shorts. Right. And so I went in and auditioned. I ended up having to audition twice, and then got the part. And they told me, Al Snow is going to play your partner. So we were the two leads. And
this was another. Al Snow, John Wells.
Well, this was the first.
Oh, this was the
this
first.
was this was for Overtime, and we shot on that thing for like 10 months. It was. I mean, it's totally just grassroots, independent production. Just shot kind of when people were available, because everyone was working day jobs, So
that's a good point.
Only be able to shoot like a scene per weekend kind of thing.
Wow.
But it was so much fun, and they ended up getting international distribution. It's on Amazon Prime now.
Is it?
But I mean, I look back at it now, and I'm sure we all do. Everyone is, and it was our first thing, so it's like, but that was my first movie, and I was able to walk into it,
Your first credited.
Yeah, I could walk into Walmart, pick up a DVD off the shelf with my name and face on the cover, which was.
Is it on Amazon Prime right now?
It's on Amazon Prime right now. Yeah.
All right. Well, then I'll definitely.
I think it was.
Okay.
I probably still is.
All
I
right,
think.
Cool. All right, so you got your first one out of the way. How are you feeling about yourself?
I felt at the time I was on cloud nine, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like I said, you walk into Walmart or Target, and there's a movie you're in. There's your face, there's your name.
That's
and that was. It's like what that's it's kind of what I had always dreamed of doing, you know, and there it is. So next step is just let's do more of this.
You want to do more. So in your attempt to do more, I mean, take us down. I mean, what's your, at this point, your mindset? I mean, where are you heading?
I don't think I ever have a destination.
Okay.
You know, I think it's for me, it's just all about the journey. What's the next step? What's the next step? So
no light. That light. There's no light at no end game or anything.
No, I think it's just enjoy the journey. Just keep working. Just keep working.
Okay, I like that.
And I like doing. You know, I look for projects that are different from what I've previously done. Mm-hmm. You know, if I'm just coming off of, you know, some kind of you know, heavy drama or horror, so, you know, I look to do something lighter, a little bit more fun, and you know, I like the exploration, I like the experimentation. So, and I've been very blessed with my body of work that I've gotten some pretty diverse work. So,
you know, just looking I'm on your Facebook page, and you got your an image, your background image, and you're in costume, you're in a different look. So there's no typecasting going on here.
No, like I said, I've been really fortunate that I've played a lot of, you know, I do the leading man thing. I do character parts. I mean, I pride myself on my versatility. Right. You know, I feel like if I have a strength, it's my range and my, you know, ability to kind of step out of any comfort zone that I feel limited by.
I would be lying to say that you do have this, you know, your features. You have strong features. How much of the looks incorporate, you know, your roles? Because I'm looking at what you got going on here. Whether you're in makeup, just how you're coming across. I mean, it looks like you're very versatile as far as your roles, but you're still kind of got this little alpha male thing going on too. Is that fair to say? I mean,
you know, I've.
It's James Bond. You
know, I mean, I don't know. I'm always so weird talking about because I'm up here, man. I'm still the awkward fat kid, you know, and that's who I was growing up, and that's kind of who I'll always. I still.
Heather, we need 2 shots.
I actually don't drink. Thank you. But I, you know, like I won't take my shirt off at a public school, public pool.
School.
No, yeah, definitely not there.
Really, a public pool, you will not do that.
No, I'm way too uncomfortable in my own skin. But I'm just, but you know, I guess, you know, looks obviously have a lot to do with casting. I mean, it's a film is a visual medium, so I mean, directors have a certain look. You know, when they write a role, they have a look in mind. So, you know, that's always going to be a factor. But you know, I mean, I've played some stuff where, you know, they've certainly uglied me up. You know, and I've played, you know, in Penny Dreadful Picture Show, I played this like nerdy, socially awkward Gothic kid where they kind of covered me up in goth clothes.
Are you going full circle here in life?
Right? And you know, and I recently played the Beast from Beauty and the Beast.
I saw that.
You know, where I was completely covered in prosthetics, and you had nothing to do with, you know, it was all entirely performance.
That looks pain. No, not painful physical pain, but just the whole notion of, because first of all, how long would it take, or does it take to get you that look?
That took about 5 hours.
Yeah,
and that took about 5 hours. I mean,
obviously you got some patience.
It was. I was fine for a while, you know, but I was in it on the day for about it was like 12 to 15 hours. It was a long day, man.
God.
Towards the end there, I started getting a little just kind of claustrophobic and got a little loopy. But
so, I mean, 5 hours to put it on, acting 12 to 15 hours. How long does it take to come out of it?
It took a good chunk of time to get out of it too, because it's all glued on, right. You know. So you're covered in adhesive and all that, you know. And I had it, you know, it's not just my face, it's my hands too. Right. So I couldn't touch anything, and just getting the glue and stuff off took forever.
Like right now, of all the films that you're doing, how many of those are taking you or outside of Louisville? I mean, how much traveling are you?
A lot. At least half.
Really?
Yeah, at least half, if not more.
So right now, what's your typical schedule as far as in a year? I mean, how many films are you trying or doing?
I mean, on a good year, maybe 3, 4, 5 features in a year. Lots of shorts, pilots. It varies, man. It comes in waves, and every now and then you hit that lull where there's nothing on the calendar, and then kind of. Which that's always not a great feeling. But then, like this year has been stacked. I've been back to back productions, some of them kind of overlapping even. So it's just, there's not a lot of predictability to it.
Right. And then, you mentioned that I'm going to ask this question, and you can answer it if you want. When it comes to making these films, or as an actor, are you all in position to get those royalties off DVDs, or when they go to any of the streaming sites? How does it work out for you?
At this level, not really.
Okay.
Some, maybe a little bit, but not enough to really.
Okay.
It's usually, you kind of get, you're contracted them out for the performance.
Right. Yeah, fair enough. One of the things I recently came across was friends of mine in the band RiverShine. They did their video to support their song "The Lover," and you were in it. And I did ask David from RiverShine if we could talk about it, which he gave me the blessing. But tell us about that experience, doing not just maybe that experience per se, but. Have you done music videos before too?
No, that was my first. That was my first music video.
Well, share that. How was that?
Well, I mean, it was really just about Antonio. Directed it, and he really he hit me up on text, and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to do this country music video. You want in?" I was like, I don't say no to Antonio. Yeah, I don't. It doesn't really matter what it is. It's Antonio.
Is he like the godfather of the film industry?
Well, he's a dear. He's a dear friend.
He's such a charming guy too.
I'll work with Antonio, and when I work with Antonio, I know I'm going to get good work out of it. I know whatever it's going to be. It's going to be a quality project. But I mean, I'll work with Antonio just to work with Antonio, just because I enjoy working with him. We work well together. We have great chemistry together. I think we make pretty great art together. So if Antonio hits me up and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to make whatever," I'm going to say yes.
Right.
So, and if it had been anyone else, I don't know if I would have done it. Just because I've never done, country music isn't really. That's I don't mind it, but it's not
your go-to.
I've never been like, man, I'd love to be in a country music video. It's just it's never crossed my mind. But yeah, I was like, I'll take that gig. So, and then really, it's from an acting perspective, there's not a lot to do. You just kind of, Yeah,
I'm curious. To pull off this video, how much time did it require you?
Well, we were on it all day. But we needed a full span of daylight, for it. So we needed the early morning stuff.
Was just one day shoot?
Yeah, just one day. Okay. Yeah, we just went out and did a bunch of various kind of fun stuff together, and just kind of shot at random. There's no, obviously you're not shooting audio because it's going in, so there's no dialogue. There's no real character immersion or anything like that. It's just, okay, now you guys are going to drive down the street and you're having a good time together. So we drove down the street and had a good time together.
So I'm curious, when they do that, do they play the song in the background to kind of give you that feel?
They did a couple times just to kind of get,
the vibe. Yeah, the vibe. And because to your point, it's a video, it's a music video, so it is all about your reactions, your actions, or how you're picking her up and the Jeep and all that. It's actually, as I told Antonio, I think I told you too, the video does the song its justice.
I think so. I think he did a great job. I mean, Antonio, the guy knows how to shoot. I mean, he can make pretty pictures all day.
Well, I'm going to give for maybe 60 seconds or so. What is it like? What is it about Antonio? What other jobs and stuff have you been involved with him? But what about Antonio that resonates with you?
I think Antonio and I are a lot alike in a lot of ways.
How y'all go back?
God. 5-6 years, I guess. We met doing like a 48-hour film fest thing. He and Clay Cook were working together at the time, and they hit me up and said, if you'd like to do this thing with us, and I did, and we've been great friends ever since, and we get along. I think we're both very passionate about what we do, and I think we're both just, I don't know. I think we just click. We just click well, and we work well together. So
he's
such a sweet guy. He's just such a nice guy, and he's all heart.
And all heart, very humble. I dig him a lot. Again, guys, here we're talking to John Wells. John, what's up with this minifigure?
Minifigure. Yeah. Well, a film I was in. God, what was it? 2014, I think we shot it. It was called The Rangers, a fantasy film. The guys that produced that are now producing a board game based on the film. So it's a big, expansive, and it's a legit board game, and it's very, very well produced. These guys don't, they don't cut corners. They don't half-ass anything. Anything they do, they're going to do to the best of their ability, and it's very professional. One of the pieces is I play the principal villain in the thing. He's the prince of shadows. He's the dark elf prince character. So that's the bad guy, and so it's a little, I think, like 2-inch minifigure in the board game. So that's cool.
Now you talking about playing the bad guy. Do you have a preferred role? I mean, do you prefer to be the knight in shining armor and sweep the damsel in distress at the end, or do you prefer to?
Well, villains, I think, a lot of the time are more interesting. They have a lot of time. They have more layers. They usually get the better dialogue. So they're usually bigger characters from the protagonist, but. So that's always a lot of fun, but it depends on the script. It depends on the character. I honestly, I haven't I've played more villains, I think, than I have kind of the lead hero guy. I'd probably like to do a little bit more of that, just because, just kind of even things out. I've done a lot of bad guys.
How much of you do appear to be athletic. How much of the stunting are you able to pull off during these films?
Well, I mean, I do all my own stunts.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, okay. It's not like most of the stuff I do can afford a stuntman.
Well, I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, I do anything that's asked of me within reason.
Okay.
I did some underwater stuff for piranha sharks, and I just came off that World War II movie up in Michigan.
Were they real piranha?
Was that? They were
real piranha?
They were CGI. Yeah. They were very.
No, they were very real.
Yeah. Whatever's asked of me, I'll at least try.
All right, I'm gonna ask you something right now.
Okay.
How good is your dialect in various movies? Can you, on a whim, give me a voice that matches? Because I admit I'm cheating. I'm on your JohnWellsActor.com website, looking at your bio, looking at your dialect.
Yeah, I'm pretty good with accents, but I don't just pull them out of my pocket. It usually takes me a little bit of time to kind of play with it. So getting the muscle memory of the mouth.
The southern accent. I mean, we are in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah, that's second
give me
nature.
Is there an Italian? Can you give me?
I'm not gonna do that. No, I'm not gonna. Don't put me on.
All right, fine.
No, that's one of those things that if I'd play with it for like an hour or two beforehand, and then I'd get just to kind of get so there's a muscle memory to it, and then you move your mouth.
All right, so. All right, no good sound bites.
Nice try.
I'm trying, people. I'm trying. I'm looking at your credits here. You've got in your young 12 years history, you've got quite a bit of credits.
I try to stay busy.
Yeah, and God, in 2018, I mean, if these are all right, you've already got 2019 work that's in post-production. Yes. You got several in post-production. without, give me some of your favorite movies. You know, what would be the movie that you would say, if you want to know who John Wells is, check out this movie?
I don't think you could do that with a single film.
Can you not humor me?
Yeah, it's because I'm
go watch them all. Go binge watch.
Well, there's some radically
42
contrasting stuff.
You're credited with 42 roles. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, that's pretty good.
Well, thank you.
I mean, am I off here?
That sounds about right. I mean, yeah. As far as credited stuff, I mean, I've done, there's a lot of short stuff I've done that's not on there, and some features that aren't on there yet, and of course, there's a couple things on there that haven't happened yet. So that's probably, give or take, that's about right.
Have you done enough stuff where you could be subject to like a comedy roast?
What's that?
A comedy roast. You could be the
Yeah, I've done plenty of comedy. Yeah, Overtime's a comedy actually.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So enough though.
Yeah,
okay.
I've done quite a bit of comedy stuff.
So is there a preference? Is there? Give me a. I mean,
no, I don't have a preference.
Really?
I like.
You just want to do any and everything.
Anything. Yeah, I like.
No typecasting.
I want the exploration of it and the experimentation is what I love. Put me out of my comfort zone is what I want.
You want to be challenged. Then.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
So, all right, man. Trying to get somewhere with you, and you're just giving me the being the safe answer, man.
Well, it's the honest answer.
Well, all right, fair enough. The honest answer.
Yeah, I like I mean the comedy stuff is
factual information is optional on this show. What is something about you that most people don't know?
That's a good I have, as far as things that people may not expect, I have what should be a crippling spine condition. I have scoliosis, but I mean, lots of people are walking around with scoliosis, but I have a very severe, rare form of scoliosis.
Really?
Yeah, so my spine is actually, I have a 72-degree curvature that goes one way and then back around the other way. So it's...
And that's not impacting your ability to do physical...
it should, but
well, I was gonna say.
I'm keeping it pretty well under control.
Wow.
I'm in pain a lot, it hurts just sitting here, but no, I keep it pretty well under control.
The questions were the painful part.
So, yeah, like when my spine doctor actually saw my X-ray, he was in total disbelief, and this kind of curvature is usually only found in like 80-year-old women who are like wheelchair bound. So it's that I can. But I do, I also work in, physical fitness, and I work on corrective stretching and postural exercises.
Right.
So
that's interesting.
Kind of keep that under control.
All right, so Superman does have a kryptonite.
I do.
After all,
it is within me.
Within you. All right, this is a little segment I do with my guests, some of my guests. I think it would work with you. I call it my round of shots. It's kind of quick Q&A. Okay. It's fun stuff. Let's have fun with it. First concert you attended?
Metallica.
Really?
Yeah.
Here in Louisville?
It was at Rupp Arena. I was 12 years old.
Wow. That was one of my first ones too. Yeah. Well, no, I'll take it back. Not my one. I did see. No, I saw them here. They're badass. They're amazing. If someone grabbed your phone, iPod, whatever, what would be that current song that's playing right now?
The current song,
yeah.
The most current song.
Yeah.
It's by a band called Architects. It's heavy, scream your face off stuff.
Yeah. So you're into that real.
Yeah. That's what I want.
Is it more speed metal kind of stuff?
No, it's more. Some of it, but it's mostly just kind of groovy,
So, but that's so when you do work out, or I'm elaborating or digressing a little bit. So that's a good little question. When you're working out, is that the kind of music you're?
Yeah. It's angry.
Gotcha.
Scream. Yeah. Just stuff your parents hate.
Your perfect pizza. What would be the toppings?
Pizza.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Probably perfect pizza. God, just a lot of meat. Sure.
Going all caveman on it. What's the weirdest scar you have, and how did you get it?
The weirdest scar I have.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, man. I don't really have that many weird scars.
Well, but,
I have.
but you do have scars.
I have one right here under my eye. From getting hit in the face with a head of a bass guitar on stage. So I guess that's
During your musical days.
Yeah, I guess
Okay.
that sounds.
All right,
that's kind of
a good
rock and
story.
roll.
It is very rock and roll.
Yeah, okay, I'll go with that.
What is John Wells' pet peeve? Something that just
Pet peeve.
yeah.
John Wells' pet peeve. I don't like people with delusions of grandeur.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
just people that you know.
You really are a genuinely good guy.
Oh God! Thanks,
You make there's no TMZ sound bites out of you, man. Come on, Antonio. I'm gonna go to you, Antonio. You're gonna have to give me the dirt on this guy.
I'm a wholesome guy, man. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't. I like spending time with my kids. And
You have kids?
I do have kids. Yeah.
How many kids you have?
I have 2 kids. I have a daughter, a almost 9-year-old daughter, and an almost 3-year-old son.
But you're divorced, single,
Divorced.
All right. Sounds like, ladies, this is who you want to bring home to mama. If you could be stuck in an elevator with a celebrity, who would it be? Besides Antonio, let's take him off the table.
I don't think I'd want to be stuck in an elevator. No. Guillermo del Toro.
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah.
he did the. I was a big fan. I'm a really big fan of his work.
Yeah, I think he's absolutely brilliant.
Was it the Hellboy movies? But he's not. He didn't do this latest one.
No, there's a new one coming out that he has nothing to do with.
So yeah, he has a very great.
He just makes masterpiece after masterpiece.
I like it. See, we were on to something. You didn't want to play along, and then you came along with the. If you could have a superpower, what would it be, Mr. Clark Kent? Look at that.
Invulnerability. Does that count?
I don't know. Is that a superpower?
Can it be?
No.
I was thinking. We'll just go with super strength, so I can throw trains around.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
That'd be fun.
Let's see. All right.
What you got?
If you had access to a time machine and can go anywhere in the past to observe, you're not going back to change the past. You want to go observe a moment in the past. Where would you go?
Wow.
And why?
Wow. I'd like maybe go watch Shakespeare do his thing. That might be kind of cool.
Oh, that's a good answer. I like it. If you could go in the past, or excuse me, in the future.
If I could go in the future,
how far would you go and why?
That's a scary question, man.
It's a loaded question. I'm trying to get something out of you. Come on.
I'd maybe 20, 30 years, just kind of see what the world is going to be like for my kids.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you there too, and I've got kids, and
just kind of know what to prepare them for.
Exactly. And I do, in some way, I have that fear, like, after I'm gone, are they going to be okay? Are they going to be prepared?
Yeah.
All right, good stuff. Last one. Give us a John Wells guilty pleasure.
Guilty pleasure. Ooh, I have many. Oh man, guilty pleasure. Where do I begin with that? Let me think. Are we just any guilty pleasure?
It's your segment, bro.
Man. God, I really like ice cream a lot. Ice cream's pretty great.
Is that like at night to a certain time?
I like sappy love movie, like romantic movies. I'll watch I like chick flicks.
Do you?
Yeah.
Have you done your fair share of those?
I've not.
Really?
I've done like none. That's like the one thing that I've really not had much a chance to do is genuine.
And you definitely welcome that.
I would love to do a romantic film. Yeah. Maybe there's been hints of it in some of the stuff I've done, but it's an independent. I talked about this in another interview recently. Independent film. There's not much in terms of good love stories. And, you know, I think that's such a shame because it's something we all connect with. It's something we all kind of, you know, it resonates in all of us. But it's almost like a taboo.
But knowing you the way I'm getting to know you, I think you definitely could pull it off. You have that kind of genuine virtue about you that could just.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Unless I'm a romantic. That's just who I am.
Is there a movie role or genre that is just a no-no to you?
Just a no-no? Yeah, there's, you know, some exploitation stuff that, you know, gets a little too, you know, there's actually one recently that I was asked to audition for, and it's, you know, it's by some relatively well-known people in kind of, you know, the B-movie circuit.
Right.
But the material was just kind of, you know, it was just a little too lowbrow for me. And, you know, I'll do some lowbrow stuff, but this, you know, I've got my limits. You know, I've not been in, you know, just some of the exploitation stuff is still too far for me.
I have one last question. I'm gonna throw this at you, and you can answer if you want. The whole Me Too thing.
I'm sorry?
Me Too
thing. Are we getting political?
Look, I don't know. I mean, I if you're okay with it, I'm curious. What is your take? Because obviously you have, you know, you got a lot of female friends in the industry, and I remember bringing this up with Sabrina, and she gave me her comments. I mean, as an actor, I mean, you're cognizant.
Well, I mean, I think it definitely exists. I mean, it's definitely a problem. I mean, you look at guys like Weinstein, who was clearly a sleaze, and, you know, ruined a lot of lives. You know, made a lot of careers, but ruined a lot of lives doing so. You know, it's definitely an issue, and it should be addressed. And I think the movement itself was certainly rooted with best intentions. But I think, like anything, any movement is started with good intentions, and then, you know, it is taken advantage of at times. But certainly, yeah, I mean, it certainly has been a problem in the past. I would like to think things are getting better. I do, you know, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know, because it's not something I've ever had to deal with, so it's kind of difficult for me to speak on.
No, it's
being a guy, you know.
Good answer. What's on your plate in the very near future?
Next week, I actually go to North Carolina to shoot a TV pilot called Limbo.
So TV.
It's intended for a series. Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
I don't know how much about that. I don't know what they've revealed publicly, so I don't know how much I can talk about it. But I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be fun.
Have you done much TV?
Yeah, I've done some.
Okay.
I've done some. This winter, I'm doing a 5-part miniseries called The Dark. It's like a post-apocalyptic kind of survival thing. It's about the end of the world. Right. Kind of. It's a really cool script, really great script, and I play one of the leads in that. It's a great character, really layered and kind of dark, and it's like a dark Han Solo. So yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of fun with it.
Like a dark.
Yeah.
Are you a Star Wars guy? Or
I'm absolutely a Star Wars guy.
You know,
totally.
I've never seen them.
You've never seen Star Wars?
No,
brother. Why have we talked about anything but this? This is the interesting stuff. You have never seen Star Wars.
Star Trek, I did back in the day.
So I'm not a huge Star Trek guy,
but none of that real heavy sci-fi.
Yeah,
I'm not. Okay. Just not my thing.
That's your thing. All right, that's okay. I can forgive you that.
Are we alone, aliens?
What's that?
Aliens.
Yeah. Are we alone? No, we can't be alone. Exactly. Yeah, the universe is too big.
Too big.
Do I think flying saucers are scooping people up? And
no,
I don't know.
Have you ever been abducted? You don't think you? How would you know?
I don't. That's a fair question. No, I think
So tonight, when you're in bed and that all of a sudden a bright light shines on you, you're going to go, "Damn you, Kevin! You jinxed me. You got me."
I'll call you up and we'll do a show.
We'll do a show. John Wells, man, thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for having me.
I think we're going to have a few of these down the road, if you don't mind.
Sure thing.
I find what you're doing very fascinating.
Thank you very much.
There's something kind of cool when it's that whole kind of living vicariously through something. I mean, where I'm getting is you're the acting. You're just escaping it, and I do find that very, very interesting. So
Thank you.
Best of luck. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks so much, man.
All right, thanks.
Cheers.
Let's get busy.
All right, guys, Kevin Hale here with segment number 3 of the night. I've got the lovely comedian, Miss Jessica Veech. Yes. What's up, Jessica?
Not much.
Are you up for this?
I'm up for
Do you know what
this.
you're getting yourself into?
They kind of warned me.
That's a
I don't-
badass tattoo, by the way.
Thank
I won't
you.
get the story there. But Jessica is a comedian, and you know, with this show, I like to promote all the talented people in the Louisville scene. Musicians. Before you, we had film industry people, entrepreneurs, comedians. And one thing with this world could always use is a good sense of humor, some laughter. There's a lot of divide these days, and not to try to get too political, but you know, that is what it is. But here we are. Got Jessica here, who's going to talk some of her comedy. You're new to the comedy scene, right?
Yes.
Officially, but I'm sure you were making people laugh. You know, you've always made people laugh. You just kind of have that.
I do.
Yeah.
I think so.
You think?
I think it's a coping mechanism.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna figure out, because with you being new to the comedy scene, I want to see. Let's go back in time a little bit to figure out your life story and what brought you to do this.
Okay.
So give us what is a quick 411 without it? Because you did tell me you were a former U of L cheerleader.
Yes.
Which, you know, as a sports guy, you were considered the bad guy. But it's okay. We'll get along. We will get along. So, Louisville cheerleader, born and raised in Louisville.
No, I'm from Indiana.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's 2 strikes. So you're on the wrong side of the river. How long do you still live in Indiana?
No, I actually live in Oldham County.
So you moved to the.
I moved to Louisville for college and then just stayed in this area.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So give us what was the background like or as a child? What was give us how Jessica as a teeny bopper. I mean, did you always have a sense of humor? I mean, what was Jessica like back in the day?
I would say I'm a twin.
There's another one of you?
No, he was killed in a car accident when we were in high school.
Oh, good God.
Oh, no. No, I don't mean to dampen. I don't mean to dampen it, but he was more of the comedian. He had the ventriloquist doll, and I was more of the serious one.
Were you you weren't his dummy?
No, he had an actual dummy.
Okay, right.
Yeah, but he was always the jokester, and my dad and grandpa are jokesters, and I guess I just, as I got older, I don't know, I just took to comedy. I don't know.
Yeah, so the comedy bug hit you
at a very late age.
Late age.
Yes.
So let's take you get to U of L as a cheerleader.
Uh-huh.
So you got some athletic skills, right? It's safe to say.
Yes.
How long had you been cheerleading? So I'm guessing you cheerleaded in high school and.
Oh yeah, I did All Stars.
Was that in Indiana? That was in the.
Actually, it was in Louisville.
Okay.
I live about. I grew up about an hour north of here.
Okay.
And so I would make the drive. I actually cheered for Gym Time, which is a big all-star team in Louisville.
My daughter cheered at Ballard and no middle school, so lived at Gym Time over at English. Is that the one? English over off in Middletown.
Yeah, that's where the new one is.
Okay, yeah.
When we're talking like 20.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Like when I was there, it was over off of like
Gotcha.
Bishop Lane.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was more of the serious one, and I didn't start doing comedy until later.
And can you tell U of L cheerleader. Because Louisville cheerleading they get the same accolades as Kentucky cheerleaders. I mean, they're always seem like they're always winning, or so
they're like sister squads. They don't compete against each other.
Right. Why is it that? Is there a reason?
One of them is like universal, and one of them is national. It's just different. Different.
I mean, that's not. It's not the varsity and JV, is it, kind of thing?
No.
That's a joke. It's a joke.
No, they just it's two different
I'm
companies.
because I'm hearing Louisville cheerleading squad winning all these awards, but I'm hearing Kentucky's winning all these awards too, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, clearly they're not in the same events, but it doesn't seem like they're ever in the same events.
No.
Yeah,
nope.
All right, so I guess actually I guess it's not a bad thing, because Louisville has done their part in being very good at cheering, and so Kentucky as well. So
yeah.
Is there one in your heart of hearts who's the better? Who's the best?
Louisville has the best cheerleading team, but UK has the best basketball team, because I'm still a UK fan. I was born and raised a UK fan.
You know what? I'll go with that.
And
basketball.
People hate me for that.
So you were a UK basketball fan while you were cheering.
Oh, I've been a UK basketball fan since Rex Chapman was at UK.
So they were playing each other when you were cheering. So were you like, were your claps not as loud?
No, I didn't.
Was your vocal cheering, you were whispering like, go, Cards, go.
No, and my dad didn't talk to me for the first couple, I would say, weeks when I decided to go to U of L, because he was very disappointed.
He's a Kentucky guy too.
He bleeds blue. Yes.
Well, I guess why'd you go to Louisville and not Kentucky?
Because their justice administration. That's what I wanted to go for. So.
Okay.
And I don't know why, because I never finished it. So.
I was going to say, because you're incorporating that into your daily routine these days.
Exactly, I am. Yeah.
So we get past the school thing, and we are let's jump into the comedy. At what time of your life did you say, I'm going for it? This is what I'm going to try.
A year ago in October, I was diagnosed with a rare degenerative disease. Only like 1,000 people in the world have it.
Can you say what it is?
It's called relapsing polychondritis.
Sounds serious. I have to admit, I don't know what it is. Enlighten me.
Most people do not. They think it's an autoimmune disorder. There's a study at the NIH right now, but it's where your body attacks your cartilage and breaks it down. And there's no cure.
Wow.
And people don't realize how much cartilage you have in your body. Yeah.
Is that...
So sometimes
it sounds painful.
It is very painful, and sometimes I wear arm canes. A lot of people will see me out doing a comedy set with my arm canes, and then when my flare goes away, the inflammation goes down and I can walk again. And they're like,
is this like the same as like, because I have a little bit of rheumatoid arthritis.
It has a lot of similarities, but it also mimics kind of MS because it relapses and it comes back and then it goes dormant and comes back. And you never know what part of your body it's going to attack.
Because that's the same, because mine is not bad, but when it flares up, it always is in the middle of the night and it wakes me up. It feels like someone has just stuck a knife into a joint. And that's how I wake up. And then I realize I'm not so tough after all, because I'm just in a lot of pain.
All for the legalization of marijuana. For
that
pain.
too, and I'll say it. It's for medicinal purposes. It helps quite a bit. Does that? Do you go there with that? Can
I want to. I want them.
I know you want that. I know you want it to be legalized, but has it been a friend of yours?
No, it hasn't.
You keep it on the down low.
No, I have been sober for over 10 years.
Okay. But see, here the thing is, will that make you hypocrite if you say you're sober? And that's total respect for that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it becomes legal,
I will do it, yes.
so does that, but
I don't want to go to jail.
oh,
I
that's
have
that
kids.
part. Okay. Yeah,
I
so
love
it's-
my job.
all right,
I'm
so-
just a responsible person.
All right, fair enough.
I just act like I'm an irresponsible
All
person.
right, so you can be a little irresponsible tonight. We'll have fun with that. So, the comedy bug, you've tried it. You're trying it.
Well, no, what happened was actually one of my doctors suggested it. He was like, have you ever thought about doing stand-up? Because you're hilarious. And it's just
I'm assuming during the visits.
Yeah.
You're putting on a show at your doctor's office.
Actually, it was that Baptist hospital, but yes. It's a coping mechanism. Like when I'm in pain,
I got you. Okay.
I make light of situations, like serious situations.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my comedy is just making fun of serious shit that I went through,
Right.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And trying to make a positive out of a negative.
So you were doing these impromptu comedy shows at the hospital or during your doctor's visits?
I guess I was, and I just didn't know it. And they suggested it a couple times. They were like, really, you should. And then I told my therapist, because I'm one of those people that have a therapist. And she's
Join the
like,
club.
go for it. You would just, and I did. And I've just been doing it ever since.
Wow, that's cool. I
I've
like
had a lot
that.
of fun.
So, well, that's interesting.
I got to travel a little.
I was gonna say, I mean, you just, but because of your situation, your physical situation, or the disability. I guess is that do they call it a disability?
Oh yes, it
Okay.
is. I mean, because there's no cure for it eventually. I mean, like it's
Well, there's no cure, but what do you do to or anti-inflammation?
steroids, biologic drugs, and like chemotherapy, immunosuppressants to try to slow down the
I have
degeneration.
access to edibles. We can talk offline. But anyways, so with this illness, disability, you stumble onto this new venture for you,
Yeah,
making people laugh.
and it started being a smartass. Yeah.
But but kind of at the expense of your
Oh yeah.
ailment. So it's all. I mean, I like that. I mean, it's I can respect that. So give us when did you get under the first spotlight and do your thing.
I signed up at the open mic Wednesday showcase at Caravan on March 29th, and that was my first stand-up show.
This year?
This year, yes.
So we're talking. What is this, October? So we're talking a little over 6 months.
Yeah.
Wow. How many have you got under your belt?
How many shows?
Well, let's go back. Your first one, March. How'd it go?
It went fantastic.
You got what? I'm guessing about 5-10 minutes or something.
You get 3 when you
3.
start out.
Okay.
But it was a great 3.
It was a solid 3.
It was a solid 3.
Right.
I'd never even walked into a comedy club, so.
It's been a long time since I've been able to pull off a solid. No, I'm not gonna say. But anyway, I actually, I'd be bragging. I should brag. I'd do more than 3. But anyway, so 3 minutes, you make an impression. Yeah, I mean, because you're able to do what happens after that. After you do it, your first stand up. Audition. It's an audition, is it or no? It's just open. It's just you just come up. Yeah, so you're not auditioning for anything. But well, in a sense, you kind of are, because if you bomb, do they make a note that she was just terrible? We're not going to give her. But
I don't know how they do that.
Maybe okay. I don't know either. So
because there are people, like brand new people that
I
get
just
up
didn't know if
there.
there's a blacklist. You didn't get on the
No,
blacklist.
I didn't get on the
sorry,
blacklist.
You're not blacklisted.
No.
Okay, so fair enough.
No. They allow new people, and then you got people like Johnny Watson. He's amazing from New Jersey. He was on the first show I was on, just practicing his stuff. I mean, he has a Netflix special coming out. So it was like it's all different kinds of people in all different journeys of their being a comedian. From beginning to like really seasoned comedians that have been doing it for a long time.
So this started in March. help us your journey. I was going to say it's not like you're going to go back and recount years. So we're talking months. So from that first open mic.
I went to Millwood Tavern. They have a Sunday Fun Day. Louisville's funny. And I met Tim Northern. And Louisville is funny crew. And then that opened a door for the Tim Northern Comedy Festival, which I did a momedy show. And it was amazing because I have 3 kids, so I make a lot of jokes about being a mom.
Okay. What's your kids' ages?
I have a teenager, he's 13, and then I have a 6 and a 7-year-old.
Okay. Wow.
Lennon, Hendricks, and Jagger.
Oh, I like those.
Yeah.
So all boys.
All boys.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Special place in heaven for me.
The tattoo, I'm gonna jump right in. You got a very cool story going on there. What is the story with this tattoo? It's
a story of I wanted a bird. It reminded me of my grandmother. Oh. And my friend Steve Gatros at Acme Inc. just told him, and I just let him draw it. We've been friends for years. I trust him. He has great art. Mm-hmm. He's amazing.
Is that the only one you have?
Oh no, I have plenty. Yeah, I have some. I have
some
a side
stamps
piece
on the back too.
I have them everywhere. Gotcha. Yes, I'm a big.
But that's
fan.
the one that definitely sticks out because you're on stage, and I mean, you have a look.
Yeah.
With your hair.
Everybody says I have a look.
I like that. You do.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a good thing. You're separating yourself from, someone else, I think.
Yeah.
And then you add funny to that, and then you're just...
I had somebody tell me one time I really shocked them. They didn't expect like a disabled soccer mom to get up there. They expected some rockabilly badass, and I guess I did my mom stuff that night.
You did your mom stuff. Yeah. So, all right.
Yeah.
So you're... Again, all right, take us, what is this mom routine?
Momedy, it's just, it's pretty much just saying it. I say a lot of straight up stuff that you want to say, but don't.
But what you're saying though is it real life that you're just adding your your take on it with the,
Yeah, like I winged it the first, probably month or so. I didn't even write jokes. I just got up there and would see people and I would get them just talk.
Your stuff was not scripted?
No, nothing of mine has ever been scripted until I started doing these contests. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'm just now to the point where I'm saying the same jokes.
So, wait a minute, on your stand-up, your initial stand-up, your 3-minute stand-up.
Yes.
You did not, are you saying you did not go on stage with 3 minutes worth of...
No, I just sat there and watched people, and then I just got up and just whatever came to mind.
I like that. That's now. So, are you? I mean, how much of your routine now is
I have a solid set now.
Okay, you do.
Oh yeah, I have a solid set. Right. I'm working on a solid clean set for this competition, this contest that's coming up, because I've not done clean comedy yet. So
let's go back to instead of clean, let's go back to the unclean, the unfiltered comedy.
Yes.
What's the motivation? What are you trying to convey in your scripted routine? I mean, is there a story you're telling? Or?
I am. It's talking about me becoming sick. Just kind of how am I?
So you are milking this.
Oh, I use it because nobody. It's not like I'm going to offend anybody because there's nobody in Kentucky I know that has it. So
that's a good point.
I mean,
you're saying only about 1,000 people have this.
Yeah, but really? I can only do my disability stuff when I have my canes because if not, it just makes me look like a horrible asshole.
You need the prop, really.
Well, I stray away from doing those. Okay. I do have a couple jokes where I just say, I have a so many % survival rate, and bring it into like, well, this is worse than that, you know.
So I mean, it's not like, I mean, what are the chances? What is the survival? Come in.
Well, it's just very different between different people, but like 5 people in my support group have died like in the last 2 weeks, and it's sudden because you don't think of your heart and your blood vessels and your throat being all cartilage, you know, like your valves and.
You know, that's a damn good point. I didn't look at that because your shit like that would just shut you down.
Yeah, people get preventative trachs or have to have emergency trachs because it collapses on them. So I've lost some hearing.
I don't think we have a medical staff on it, you know, on hand here. So you know,
oh no, you're good.
I need you to wait until after this second.
No, you're good. I'm far from there.
Okay, let's get back. How are you feeling?
I feel great right now. Really? Yeah.
So is it sporadic? Do you know when this is going to hit you?
I'm starting to, and I have a dog that kind of tells me when it's
I've
crazy.
Heard that, yeah. So he's
not trained to do that.
Oh,
he just started doing it.
So his spider senses kick in, and what's his? How does he tell you, or how? What?
He won't leave me alone. I can't even go to
Really?
No.
He senses.
He tells on me.
Really?
Yeah, because my husband was like, "You're not feeling good," and I'm like, "Oh no, I'm great." And he's like, "The dog says differently," you know.
And the dog's word is gold.
Yeah.
Wow.
He always, because there was one time I was like, "No, I feel really good," and then I went to bed and I woke up in the middle of the night, and it was like, he's telling me it's going to happen now. So
he's your preventative.
Yeah, we've registered him and started working with him. So, you know, if I become to the point where I have to use a wheelchair or canes or anything ever in the future, you know, like just so I have him there. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, good God. And you still, it says a lot about your character, how you can, you can, you know, take this illness head on, yet laugh about it.
Yeah, I didn't at first though.
Oh, you did? Okay.
No, I didn't at first. I was real depressed and really just like, what in the world? And then I saw this, he's a local guy, his name's Mike Olson. He has something called idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, and he did an interview on the news, and just his attitude was so positive and his outlook on life, and he's a pastor, and I'm just like, so I kind of got involved in like NORD, which is National Organization of Rare Diseases. And that guy just gave me a lot of inspiration, and I was like, I'm just going to get up and start throwing myself into this comedy thing. I'll do this.
Is this, so right now, is this your focus job thing? Is this, or are you doing anything besides comedy?
I still do have a 9-5. Yeah. Okay, yeah. This is just kind of like a hobby. It was a bucket list thing, really, to begin with. Yeah. And it just, I became passionate about it and have just continued to do it. I've got to do my first comedy festival in Ohio recently.
My next question is, how much traveling have you been able to do with this?
Just there, and you know, like to Lexington, just different parts of the areas.
But outside of Louisville.
Outside of Louisville, yes, and got to meet some pretty amazing.
I was going to say, how much of that has, you know, that you benefited from being able to experience, you know, working with other talented.
It's amazing. I got starstruck at the comedy festival because I got to meet Stuart Huff, and he's like my favorite comedian, and he was there one of the nights.
That's cool.
So
very cool.
It was pretty fun.
Did he get to hear you do yours?
No. My set was very early in the day. So yeah.
I'm looking at your schedule. You've got. And I like how you got our show as one of your items on there. I appreciate that.
I do.
But so on the 11th, this is coming Thursday. The funniest comic east of the Mississippi. What's that about?
Yes, it's actually it's in Lexington, Kentucky, at a place called Twisted Cork, which is like I want to say it's a liquor store, like a package, like.
Oh yeah.
But they have comedy. I have never been there. I've just heard great things. And it's 4 rounds of 20 comics. They pick 3 at the end of the then 12 compete at Comedy Off Broadway.
Contest.
You get $500 and then a one-on-one interview with somebody from America's Got Talent for.
Okay.
So it opens up more opportunities for you.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
And then you're on the 24th. You come back to the Caravan, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So is it generally, is it a Wednesday? Is that a standard?
It's like a showcase. It's like
Okay.
new people, like open mics. It's new people, and then people trying to get their set solid or practice new material.
And then you follow up with the Comic East of the Mississippi on the 25th. So is that part of the?
There's 2 rounds that you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then this on the 26th, Lady Killers.
Lady Killers
What's
show
up with
is
that?
gonna be awesome.
Is it? Obviously, is it
gonna
just
be
a bunch
amazing.
of ladies?
It is,
doing-
and they are badass ladies.
Was this at here in town?
It
or-
is at Barrel House over in Jeffersonville. Ultra Combo Live.
Are the people funny over on that side of the river? I never.
Yeah, because we drive over there.
Good point. Touche.
Yes, they are. They are.
So you got a bunch of ladies who are just putting on the.
Yes, Melissa Dorian. She's amazing. Adrian Thompson, Kim Freeman. There's I want to say 6 or 8 women in the
Okay.
Lady Killer show, and it's going to, and they're
you're
all
part of that.
phenomenal.
Okay, very
Yeah.
cool. And then what is every Monday is a Melwood.
Melwood, yeah. Louisville's Funny hosts Fun Day Monday, which is like their open mic. It's always a lot of really good feedback from other comedians, and I just love that bar. It's just amazing.
Well, what you're doing should be as cheesy as it sounds, but I'll say it should be an inspiration for people.
Oh, well,
It should. I mean, I'm trying to downplay it, but it really should, because to someone have to have this, to be in this physical situation, but can just meet it head on and still kind of now laugh about it in a way. That's I like that. I mean, it says a lot about your character. So I have to make it a point to get to one of these gigs, and I want.
yeah, or check out my, I know you follow me, see me recreating all the comics photos and mimicking them. I've been doing that, and it's been pretty fun and interesting.
Where can people find you? Give us all your social media.
It's just Jessica Veech under Facebook.
So right now, just Facebook?
Well, and I have Instagram.
Yeah.
That's about the,
Okay.
I'm just now getting into
You're just
the
getting it
social
because
media.
you're still relatively new at this.
I
6
am.
months in.
I am, and I didn't realize how many different platforms social media contains. It's a
there can
lot.
be.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Jessica, I wish you the best. Keep that smile on your face, because one thing also, again, I said it at the beginning of the show, and I'll say it, and what we need a lot more of is some humor, some laughter in our daily
Yes.
routine. This world of ours can be pretty divisive, and I hate that. But thanks for hanging out with me, and I'm gonna check you out, man.
All right. Well, thank you for having me.
Good stuff. Thanks.
Yeah.
Let's get busy.
All right, guys. It is segment number 4 of the night, Shooting from the Lip 355, here at Baxter's on October 9th, 2018. Next up, my buddy Petey Compton, who is a main player supporting the local music scene. Petey, what's up with you?
Just keeping busy.
Busy. Let me get your mic going. Let me do that. Let's see. All right. We are here tonight to talk about a near and dear friend of ours who is going through very crazy illness. Another one of our friends who are dealing with the dreaded word, cancer. Tammy Lynn Hart. Tammy is, again, a good friend of ours who is another person who is very into the local music scene, a supporter, someone who a lot of people love, respect, and are going down this road with her and doing their best to support her through this illness. But friends of hers, Petey, you being one, took the initiative to get a benefit together. It's happening on Sunday, October 21st, 1 to 9 at Diamond Pub Concert Hall on Baird Avenue. It is the Get Your Blue Love on for Tammy Lynn Hart, the cancer benefit. Lots of bands. Petey, once you got involved, what was it? Take us. What's been the story with this?
Well, I mean, the whole team Tammy, I mean, her best friends that are female have reached out to us to help. And then I think everybody in the community's helped. All the musicians, and we've had people that doesn't even know Tammy have reached out and offered to help. And I think that's what the whole music community is about is, you know, when somebody needs some help, they help. But like I said, the core group of Tammy's friends have reached out to everybody, and everybody's reaching back out to them. So I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, and what this does, this is an example where, Tammy not being a musician, but definitely is, again, a supporter of the local music scene. This is where the musicians know and respect, who Tammy is, with the music vibe here. And you got a lot of bands that are stepping up to give their time to support. How did you go about coming up with this who's who of the musicians? And
well, honestly, it was really easy. We just says, Tammy, who do you want?
Yeah.
I mean, Tammy's reached out and she says, we want everybody. And the thing is, it's impossible to get everybody, but we've got quite a few.
You got a lot.
Right, and we apologize for the ones that we couldn't get on the list, but they're still going to come out and help us too. So like I said, we got quite a few. Did you want me to go through the list of some of the ones we got?
Go ahead.
Okay, we've got Dave Moody and Steve Clark playing together for us. Killer Lips, Mary, Soul Circus, Rockadelic, Naked Garden, Trippin' Roots, Wax Factory, Exit 8, and Cold War Radio. They'll be on the inside of the Diamond Concert Hall, and then we've got some acoustic duo and solos playing. We got Frankie Moody and Josie Lauren playing together. Josh Logan, Chase Skinner, Shane Dawson. I mean, he's always there to help us. We're gonna do like a little sing along with Tammy's favorite songs around 4:45 in the afternoon for about 30 minutes. And everybody knows Tammy's favorite songs, so they better
yeah,
prepare.
we do.
Some of them I kind of get tired of hearing, but like I said, we're gonna.
We say that with love, Tammy.
Yeah. So I mean, but what's up? I mean, we gotta play some of those songs. The match like 20 songs.
Like a match for non-blind. I mean,
E3. I love.
Yeah. So.
But we got to do and celebrate, and that's.
But this is about her, so we get,
That's the reason we're doing this, because like I said, that's what I told all the artists. They said, Pete, we're only playing 30 minutes each, but that's what we got to do.
Right.
And then we're going to get everybody together, and like I said, we want her to be there and to see this. We're going to videotape it and everything, so I think it'll be fun. We got Villamure there, Slinky Steele, Kevin Cummings and Lauren.
Right.
He's going to be there. Doug Pinson, right before he goes to play later at night, he's going to be there, and Rob Maupin Jr. Like I said, we've got about 20 different other artists that if they could just have one of their other band members,
I know they'd be a band, right?
All those people are going to bring. I mean, they're going to bring whoever they can anyway. Right, so they're going to join in. They're even going to join in with some of these other folks too. So I said there's going to be at least 20 some acts, but by the time we really get done, you're going to see over 30 some different people.
That's a good point. Again, this is at Diamond Pub Concert Hall. It's Sunday, October 21st from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. There's a silent auction. Tell us what's going on with that.
Yeah, the silent auction is going to be really good. I'm actually trying to get some more signatures on the guitar that we've got. We're going to have the artists that are performing there also sign the guitar.
That's cool.
I mean, I've seen the list, and I can't really say all the different things, but it's going to be worth it to come for the silent auction, to bid on some stuff. It's going to be different baskets of stuff, the restaurants, every place that Tammy's been and watched these bands at, they've more than volunteered for stuff to donate. And like I said, it's pretty exciting. I think they're working on the list the next couple of days here. So hopefully, like I said, when you get there, you're just going to take a little bit to go through it, because I think there's plenty of items where everybody can get something.
Very cool. Very cool. It is 21 and over. It's a $10 donation at the door. Obviously, if you want to drop more than 10, go for it. It's very much appreciated. There's also a website you can go to. It's caringbridge.org/visit/Tammy Lynn Hart. You know, is there any Kentucky memorabilia? You know, Tammy's a Kentucky basketball or Kentucky fan, sports fan, football and basketball. As me too. Me too. So, and I just noticed the blue thing. I mean, how much is there a theme, Kentucky theme going on here?
Well, no, it's just the blue because of the awareness and stuff. It is a blue because like breast cancer is pink, so that's the reason everything's blue.
Right.
And like I said, I mean, pretty much we're going to be given the opportunity to have koozies and bracelets you can buy too, and everything matches the whole theme. And like I said, you know, like Tammy says, everything's UK blue. Right. She's going to get through this, and like I said, with everybody's help. And I think the music makes her feel better. I just sent her a message earlier, and she misses the live music.
I know.
It's make her feel better.
You're right. I've seen, you know, I keep up with her Facebook posts, which, you know, as a friend, I look forward to seeing those because I want to know, you know, what her spirits are like, you know, her moods. And I can only imagine, well, I can't imagine what she's going through. I have an idea, and you know, from me to her, I definitely wish her the best. But it's a dreaded illness that has no prejudice, has no, we've lost quite a few people in the past, you know, from that dreaded word, and you know, we can.
But the good news is I've seen so many of my friends that have made it through all that stuff. John Andretti's a race car driver. He's had a very similar situation. He's made it through twice, beat it twice. It's doable. You got to just catch it early. I think she's caught it early enough.
She had,
and that's the big thing, is just trying to get everybody to pull together. And it's you know, person upstairs is going to take care of stuff, and with her spirit, and she's just stubborn. I mean, I love Tammy because when she wants something, she goes out and gets it. She's going to get this thing. She's a fighter. She's a fighter, and that's the big thing. And that's the reason everybody wants to help her, because she's helped so many other people and all the benefits.
She's just her support with the Louisville music scene, and with some musicians outside of Louisville is tremendous. And yeah, definitely a no-brainer for the musicians or even venues and such to give back and to be a part of this.
Yeah, she's helped so many other people getting donations and other stuff for these other things. And like I said, just happens so quick. You never expect you to be on the other side of this. And that's the reason we're reaching out. And like I said, it's just a whole team. And I think, you know, as you'll see in the bracelets, the Team Tammy, her closest friends, I mean, they're there every day for her. And I think that's great.
Right. What's left, because we're a little over a week away.
Well, I mean, pretty much they're just getting all the sign auction items together. I'm trying to get these guitars signed off. We just went over with Bob Randall. He's going to be helping us with Corey at Diamonds. Make sure we have everything in sync. You know, like I said, we've been offering to maybe get some extra stagehands that can help us. But I think, you know, doing a benefit like this, with the help of like Shirley's Way, with Mike and Wes.
Well, you know, let's give a shout out to them real quick, because those guys kind of behind the scenes, but yet they're key players. That's a group, that's an organization that just steps up for the you know, for the music scene, not just music for other people, but you know, they're a heavy player. Mike Maroney, Wes Faust, Shirley's Way. Tell me what it's been like working with them. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they've been doing their raffle or the Queen of Hearts thing, or whatever it's called.
We're on Monday night.
Yeah, Monday
right?
night. So I've been going out
Yeah.
there, and like I said, they spend any time with questions. They've helped everybody on our team, helped Team Tammy folks. I mean, they've reached out, they've explained, they've been through this, and again, what they do and how much stuff's involved, how many rules and policies and things like that. I mean, it's unbelievable what they do, and like I said, it's a great, and you know, with KevFest and all the other things they've done, you can see their experiences really help, because the folks that are doing this, we really don't have experience doing this, and reaching out, they've been 100% behind us, everything.
To their credit, I mean, they definitely, you're in good hands with those guys, and you know they get it. And to your point, there's a lot of logistics that have to happen behind the scenes, and they got that taken care of for you. So
taxes, and there's a lot of other things, how you can raffle, how you can do silent auctions, liability, insurance, there's things like that, and you have no idea how it works, and I understand it now, and like I said, hats off to them.
Exactly. Kudos to them. I mean, because, and you know what, and the best part of those guys, their intentions are just fucking amazing. I mean, they're just, they get it. They're very supportive, and so again, it's October 21st. It's a Sunday. Diamond Pub Concert Hall, 630 Barrett Avenue. It's the Get Your Blue Love On for Tammy Lynn Hart cancer benefit. $10 donation at the door. Looks like over 20 music acts, probably more, give or take. It's a lot of talented local people giving their time. Again, my friend, from me to you, anything I can do to help promote this, obviously come to me and let me know. I'll be there in support, and we do. Love Tammy a lot. She's a good friend. She and I have a special friendship, wouldn't you say, Tam? So, but she means a lot to the music scene, and I know I'm speaking on her behalf. Petey, Kim, Christy, there's other people involved, but you guys are doing your part to make this happen, and I know she's very appreciative of it. So,
appreciate it. Thanks.
All right. Sunday, October 21st. Be there. Diamond Concert Hall. Tammy Lynn Hart. Peace.
Let's get busy.
Last segment of the night is the trending news segment, brought to you by Kevin Cummings' music gig.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. We're here at Baxter's on the Tuesday, October 9th. We're already into October, guys.
I know, right?
And it's still freaking, almost 90 degrees.
Weather-wise, I think it's supposed to change next week.
Later this week. That's what I'm hearing. It's like in the 60s and then low.
You know you're at a good podcast when people talk about the fucking weather.
Meteorologists, yeah.
That's fucking riveting, Kev.
There you go.
It's gonna be so is it going to change? Is it going to change? Is that what's going to happen?
What's the possibility?
What road
of
did you
rain?
take here? What interstate did you take to get here?
Around these parts. Let's start off with the whole Kavanaugh getting sworn in, but more importantly, Trump goes on this little crusade where he apologizes to Kavanaugh, uses the hoax word. This was a witch hunt by the Democrats and stuff. Again, being so fucking divisive. I mean, but more importantly, discounting the females who came forward.
And this whole thing was ceremonial, by the way. He was inducted this weekend, so they chose to do this just for ceremony. By the way, we have a new addition to the podcast, a gentleman named John Sammasino.
What's
He'll
his story?
definitely want to touch on this. He is a social intellectual, I would say. How would you describe yourself, John?
Sure.
That sounded nice. That's a good adjective. So jump again.
He said that he was proven innocent, is what Donald Trump came out and said. Like, I think while he was during the confirmation, or not the during the ceremony.
Yes.
He was like, when he apologized to him, he said, "You've been proven innocent," instead of just denying an allegation and everybody accepting that. Not everybody accepting it, but
neither side had proof as far as that. I mean, like, I don't think that there was anyone could say that he was proved guilty or that he was proved innocent. But the fact that the president says he was is obviously not at all an example of fake news he always bitches about.
Yeah, and this goes into my whole worry about him being in the court and not being bipartisan, which, yes, you can be liberal, you can be conservative, being part of the Supreme Court, but at the same point, like, having this whole ceremony just kind of more bleeds into my thoughts of him kind of just being,
I mean, if he's not set up to be an errand boy, then I don't know who the fuck is.
I'm saying it's blatant almost, and what do you think about that, John, as far as him, like, being a part of the Supreme Court right now?
I think we have 2 sexual predators in the Supreme Court.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
That's what I
Clarence, is that the other one?
Yes.
Clarence Thomas.
Well, it seems like sexual predation is okay with GOP.
Grab that.
Yeah, grab that pussy.
That's the horrible thing about. That's why I always say, when it comes to different people, I'm always like, I hate one less than the other, maybe, but like men especially that gain a lot of power because they specifically want it. They didn't get it on accident, but men that seem to want a lot of power sure do often seem to use it in really shitty ways like that, whether it be financial fucking people over like Trump or sexual shit like Trump, or, I mean, it's just it's unfortunate. That's why, I'm with, like Joe Rogan, he always says, he's like, the reason no one's good at president is because it's a stupid fucking job. He's like, one person can't make decisions for everybody. It's a silly, outdated idea. And the fact that we still think that, people before, all the things we have now, we're so smart, but we think, no, we definitely shouldn't change the fucking first thing written a few hundred years ago. It's like, just like when people going back to the Bible, it's like, they're not smarter than we were, and neither was Thomas Jefferson. I'm fucking sorry. We're smarter than that dude. We should update that shit.
We should.
I don't understand it.
Well, the system can't change unless you have, like, people in power that are willing to
want
be
it to change,
progressive, And
who the fuck would want it to change when it's set up so well for those that are running it?
Old white men.
Yes, you gotta make America great again.
Oh, that's fucked, man. I mean, that still just blows me away. But the also the whole this notion that the GOP is using the Democrats as a bunch, and the left is a bunch of angry mobs.
Yes, that was the new phrase that's being passed around now. Mob,
angry mob.
It's gonna
McConnell,
be a mob.
Lindsey Graham.
Fox News, commentators, analysts, whatever you want to call them, personalities would be the best word, I guess. They're throwing it around Fox News now. The mob mentality of the left.
Yeah, I keep seeing posts like of like they showed some girl that was beaten up because she was a Trump supporter.
I heard about coverage of it.
And I'm seeing like 2 or 3, and of course that's like, I mean, if you want to pick out one liberal that got beat up because of a Republican, that's pretty fucking easy to do too. It's like, that's so silly.
Well, I think it's odd that they call out this mob mentality, but all these politicians, our president included, found it hard to call out what was going on in Charlotte last year, but now, like, they relate over to people dressed as the Handmaid's Tale, basically doing a peaceful protest as a mob mentality, like people doing a sit-in with a flag and like talking about like Kavanaugh shouldn't be elected. That's a mob mentality.
Yeah, based on that, obviously all the Trump rallies were mob mentality.
If you want to talk about a mob mentality, what else is a better example?
Yeah, it's so weird.
You see a lot of themes in other elections in other countries around the Baltic states, or where you have like Estonia, Latvia, countries where Russia is definitely getting involved in their elections. And I will say that you will see themes in each of these elections like mob rule. You will see lock her up. You will see a lot of the same things you hear coming from both sides, because they're not just playing one side. The idea is that they're driving a wedge, right? So we're going to play both sides. I know that I went into Russia and it kind of went off topic a little bit.
It's a nice subway.
But it kind of, you will start to see, like when we watch the news or depending on which sources you go to, you start to see things that Fox News, for example, you can literally watch something on Fox News that if you had access to RT, Russian television, was on Russian television 2 hours before that. Sean Hannity will literally quote RT and their themes that they pass out. And it's like, if we could disseminate that information and awaken people to the idea that this is real, this is not some hoax, that this is what they're doing in other countries.
Right. If we could, then what? I still feel like people wouldn't listen.
If people were actually informed.
I mean, because of the mob mentality that I think Trump has successfully got. I mean, like he said, he could shoot people in the street. I think he could.
The way that you beat tribalism is discussion, right? I think that, and listening to other people. When I have a conversation with somebody about a very hot topic, right? Say I'm going to talk to them about Russia or Trump, right? I have to be able to listen to what they're going to say, right? And then even show them in some way that I am listening, like active listening. So I ask questions about it. Now, whether I agree with them or not, if they don't feel like they're not being listened to,
it won't matter.
They're not going to listen to me at all.
No, that's a good point.
And so then I'm just creating I'm living in my own echo chamber, and I'm just going to hang out with my friends, and we're going to all agree with each other, and they can hang over there. But that wedge just gets more.
Let me finish this Trump thought, and then we'll get other topics real quick. Trump also predicted that Democrats will vote for Republicans because of this Kavanaugh stance, and some people took that as Russia. I mean, is he telling on potential?
What was the quote again?
Future tampering.
Trump predicts Democrats will vote for Republicans because of the Kavanaugh stance, because of how basically he's saying that true Democrats will
be so offended that they got someone to make up fake shit about Kavanaugh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
well, he believes everyone protesting was paid, paid actors.
I think he's trying to get as many male Democrats as he can, if it's even possible. But I don't. He lives in his own little dream world in a lot of ways. He has a lot of people surrounding him who tell him what he wants to hear. Like you were
just talking about, as far as tribalism, like being around people that you won't, like having no one around you that you will listen to if they disagree with you, is obviously the best way to create your own tribalism, which I think is obviously the case with him. And he's got an entourage.
He talks to Sean Hannity before he goes to bed at night. They have This is not a lie. He talks to him nightly. And they have conversations about what's going on. So it's literally an echo chamber feeding back into itself, because it's like, Sean, you wouldn't believe what I heard on Fox News tonight. Yeah. No, I don't know. That's what it's like they go back and forth.
And stay with Fox News.
I'll say real quickly, I don't mean to cut you off, but Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson, what they do is...
here's another... This is a Tucker Carlson quote.
Here we go.
He actually read out loud the lyrics to John Mayer's Your Body is a Wonderland with a guest, and in reading the lyrics, using that based on what was, what these women went after Kavanaugh with, he flat out asked, shouldn't John Mayer be arrested? Prosecuted based on what he was. I mean, that's what we're fucking dealing with right now.
He is the perennial example of someone that is all about the echo chamber. When I watch him give interviews with anyone that's
like a less smart Rush Limbaugh.
Yes.
I don't mean that Rush Limbaugh is awesome. I just mean I think he's a smart, terrible person.
Right.
Yeah. Like Hitler's smarter than me on IQ tests, probably, but not in a good way.
But I've watched interviews where he does things with people that are from the left or even moderate, like Republicans, and he will cut them off before they can get out a point and finish their statement more to fit his narrative. And the times where I can actually force myself to watch him, it's appalling, because there are so many people that watch him that are already on that side, already in that tribe, and they're hearing exactly what they want to hear without being able to listen to the counterpoint or even get different information.
Bill Maher's show recently, I don't think it was this past week, it was a week before, he had Steve Bannon on.
Yes.
That was actually a pretty good discussion.
That was actually very good.
It was.
And it was a badass discussion because he flat out, and I actually agree.
There's a dude that whether you agree or not, that's a smart dude.
He's a smart guy.
He's ahead of me. I don't want to play chess with Steve Bannon.
No,
Well, he knows
Bannon
manipulation of people.
really did that too. But he, he flat out said someone like, the attorney, Michael Avenatti, would be that's the mentality. That's the kind of guy that, you would want, Democrats would want to.
No way.
That's That's.
I mean, I was there. I watched it.
Yeah, but
I watched it as well.
I don't agree with it. I don't like Michael Avenatti as a politician.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Here's my thing, and this is something kind of from Bill Maher. He constantly talks about, like, why don't Democrats have nuts? When there were certain senators interviewing Kavanaugh, they were so passive. They were so passive about certain things. And the bald black gen, his name escapes me.
Cory? No. Not Booker. Cory Booker?
Is it Cory Booker? Bald black younger.
Yes, Booker.
When he was interviewing Kavanaugh, I was amazed. He was like sitting back and pausing. It was so softball. It was fast pitch softball.
I have to admit, I didn't watch it.
But I watched so much of that. It was grating. But like I saw certain people.
It was like he was his own. It was like your own lawyers reading your questions.
Yes, it's like he didn't really go after him, and I'm just like sitting back, like, why don't these people nut up and play the Republican political game? Like they're snarky, they're rude, they go right
But
after
even
you
outside
savagely.
of that, I mean, you can be ballsy without playing the game in a shitty way.
Yes.
But you definitely can't combat that kind of aggressiveness with the complete opposite, little pussycat mentality of being really just chill and sweet about it.
Do you all think, let me just toss this out there, do you all think if I needed tomorrow to contact 65 women you knew in high school, right? If I had to produce a letter, do you think you could even put a list of 65 women out there that to be reached and to all read and sign a letter that are showing their support for you?
No, that's ridiculous.
Or is it more likely of a possibility that they fully saw this coming? They were prepared for this. They got those 65 women to sign a letter, right? 62 of which backed out of the letter after the fact, after the Blasey Ford, testimony.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea that they did that overnight and that these women rushed to his aid is a little far-fetched. I mean, I think that the other side was fully prepared for this. I think Kavanaugh was a purposeful choice for multiple reasons.
Yes.
As far as executive power.
Does he overturn Roe v. Wade?
No.
I agree.
As far as overturning it, no, but many states are going to have a lot more freedom to
that's what it's
basically
going to come
ban.
down to. It's going to make it.
All right.
It's going to make it
Fair
on the
point.
books legal.
It's going to squeeze
right?
the reins a little bit for sure.
A lot.
Okay.
I actually just watched. I can't remember the name, but I'll tell you because I think all you guys would appreciate it. I just watched a documentary about Roe v. Wade, and the whole thing was amazing, and definitely made me kind of open my eyes to the fact that, like we're saying, it's like even without we overturned it, there's so many ways that women can be negatively affected by a conservative Supreme Court ultimately.
Yeah.
Last week, did you guys get the presidential alert?
Yes.
The text.
No, I didn't.
I think I got an orange dick pic. I'm not sure.
I actually got
I think it's a virus.
Did you?
Did it look like
Maybe
Toad?
it had a virus.
Yeah, I
Did
got
it look
it.
like Toad from
No,
Super
sir.
Mario?
You didn't get
Mushroom. I did that fucking interview. It's hilarious.
You really didn't get it? I got it.
No.
I got it. You know what I'm talking about?
No, enlighten me. No, enlighten me. How did I miss
It
out?
was like a little emergency presidential.
Imagine
it was.
this is this is a warning from the national emergency. What do they say?
Emergency broadcast
Canada's
system.
going to attack
That's
us.
exactly what
Yeah.
this is, right? You get the same tone. Everybody got the tone, like,
Yeah.
oh, right? And then
On
you
your
look down
phone.
and it says presidential alert. Now,
On your phone,
Everybody freaked out because they thought this is a way that Trump is going to send out, messages and stuff.
Yeah.
This policy specifically, this all started under Obama. Right?
It actually did.
He
right?
started this out, and it's just taken time to come to fruition, and it just happens to be Trump as the president
And what's-
when this
and it's-
happened.
it's
But
only someone-
It takes it. There, I have a friend who actually worked on this process, right, on the system, and it takes a lot. It is possible, he said. It's not completely impossible for Trump to get his hands on it, but it goes through many levels before. I mean, all Trump really has to do is get on Twitter. He has a lot more. I mean,
yeah. I was gonna say I can't imagine this being a negative thing.
Yeah, this is basically going to be if there's a storm in your area, or a hurricane is coming, or we're under attack by North Korea, or whatever that's
or
supposed
Canada.
to be.
Don't fucking sleep on Canada.
I'm not so concerned about that. I think
I wasn't either. I was just curious if you all got it.
But what's funny is that people do, like if Obama had that or Clinton had that.
Oh, good God.
No, people would I think they would just think of it. No, because they're both normal humans in the sense that, like, I feel like the Trump is the only one crazy enough that people are going to be like, he might actually use that to be like, hey, this guy's a dick.
Take to the streets.
Yeah, like this is Trump. I just wanted to wake you up, fucking Democrats. Like,
this next topic. This is where I can't help but to shame cultures. And this is there's no racist bone in my body, but the notion of these cultures, these countries, these places that
I already like where you're going. I already know where it is.
Afghan women still jailed alongside murderers for failing virginity test. Help me understand how fucking backwards.
It's really easy. Islamic.
Go ahead.
Not all of them. Just a whole fucking lot of them are goddamn terrible. And the fact that we have this PC culture where we can't admit that it's a shit idea.
Yeah.
It didn't start out with first of all, I'm not a huge fan of Jesus, but it didn't start out by a dude that got killed. It started out by a dude that killed everyone in his fucking way. A military fucking warrior of Muhammad. And then to say that women are oppressed is a fucking understatement. I mean, you give one hand job, you're getting your head cut off. I mean, it's pretty. The whole thing. I think the whole thing is so insane that you can't just admit that that bad ideas really, really, really hurt people, and the ideas themselves should be attacked, not the people. Exactly. But the ideas themselves are shitty.
Why can't?
So is the book. It's a shitty book.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The fact that we can't call these people or these cultures or the countries out for that shit. And speaking of another calling out someone who gets way too much credit. Christopher Columbus. We celebrate his day.
God.
This is a dude.
We should have Christopher Hitchens Day. Yeah, damn it.
Yeah. This guy tortured, murdered people, yet we celebrate him. This is an accident.
Can I say something about Columbus?
All right, go ahead. Are you going to offend him?
A little bit.
All right. Oh, well, there you go. It adds to the conversation.
All
Please.
right. Now, I was thinking about this the other day, and I was reading everybody's like Happy Indigenous Day, and I have a natural devil's advocate that just runs through my bones. So
I like it. Bring it.
And I thought to myself, I'm like, all the people who were saying that had European descent. And I'm thinking, well, happy Indigenous Peoples Day, but you wouldn't really be here. I know that we had, who was it, Leif Erikson? Yeah. The Viking who came over a long time before.
Not the actor.
Not the terrible quarterback.
Ryan Leaf was his name. But Leif Erikson, wasn't it?
No, that was a
Leif Erikson was
Leif Eric.
But anyway,
go. I know. The Viking.
Yeah, the Vikings, they obviously came over, but I do believe that Columbus had an idea, right? And he had a pretty good idea. I mean, he failed miserably at it and thought he was going to get to the East Indies, and he showed up and he ended up here or whatever. But
he connected the human race.
Right.
I mean,
he had an idea that was, I'm going to go in a different direction that nobody's done before, and I think I can get there quicker. And it led to a civilization that we all benefit from.
Right, but that's like saying, like, I really learned how to organize things well from Hitler. Let's have Hitler Day. Like, my point is, like seriously, like Hitler's great at organizing.
It's not a simple comparison like that. I mean, he didn't kill 6 million people.
Correct.
He didn't say,
way less.
Right.
He still killed people for not great reasons.
His intentions were.
Obviously, he's not
the road
to
hell is
I'm
laid
just
through
saying
good
that
intentions.
We could always say he was a man of his time, and who's to say that? I mean, there was I'm not trying to defend the mentality of the day to be like they're, barbarians and we should kill them off. I don't know.
He's trying to defend the mentality of the day.
I think more like a better way of looking at it is like all the atrocities aren't basically laid at Christopher Columbus's feet.
By any means. He was a pawn in a larger game.
Yeah, I'm just saying we should celebrate the idea he had, right? That I'm going to go that direction, and he went to multiple courts, he didn't just, he ended
Right.
up at Ferdinand and Isabella.
And it was
but
insanely-
He tried different courts, and they all kind of laughed at him. Like, there's no way I'm giving you the money to do that. And he did it. I'm not saying he did great things, and I know he did terrible things, but I just think, like, I don't know. I'm also Italian, so we kinda
I will
protect
say
our
this:
own.
I like Columbus better than the Islamic people we were talking about in the not all Islamic people, by the way. There's somebody out there, not no Islamic people. Listen to this
Muslims are
probably.
It's just the tenets of the religion,
Exactly.
you know. Like there was just
Still
too many
bad
things
idea.
in Islam that are like
I could go through the
prehistoric.
Bible and be like, there's
Trust me,
terrible
I
things
can
throughout
do
the
it
whole
longer
Bible.
than you can.
Right,
Probably.
it's time
They're
to
both bad
shake-
ideas that hurt people.
It's time to shame our own country. Flint schools are getting safe water fountains thanks to Elon Musk. Why is the Flint water thing still a fucking issue? I mean, these guys are still. The water is not clear.
And it was obviously a con job, which makes it even weirder that
Exactly.
America wouldn't be like, oh man, these people truly got fucked over by the system. Let's make it right.
And they're still getting
corruption.
corrupt.
That's corruption.
Yeah.
You have to go.
I love you all.
I would
You can
say-
use it if you want.
Yeah.
Are you leaving?
Yeah, I got to
He's
play.
got to go play. I mean, he is getting paid to play tonight.
I would say if there's one time for like FEMA to step in and actually like
would
supply the
think.
money to like renovate their water system,
I mean, why
this
is
should
it
have happened
not
a
a
long
priority?
time ago.
I mean, seriously, why is it not a priority?
Because it's Flint, Michigan.
Because it's
You're
Flint.
dealing with like a lot of poor black and white people. They have been disenfranchised
well,
for
here's the
quite
thing.
some
Why
time.
isn't the people in Michigan or making noise? It's like I don't even hear it. It's not even.
Like when I say these people are disenfranchised, they just don't have that much political influence. It was a big story when it was a sob story for the nation, and after a while, it kind of lost its driving power as like something to get people like up in arms about, hey, what's going on in Flint? Especially when you have so many other things that are going on in the past like 2 years. People have been distracted. You know, people have kind of moved on in their heads, whereas these people are still in that small city, like going through hell. It's the same thing like with Puerto Rico. After the aftermath, the initial aftermath, everyone kind of moves on, you know, and people forget that like things don't just change and get better overnight.
Right.
Puerto Rico is still devastated.
If something has bad infrastructure to begin with, like if the pipes aren't good to begin with, then all they're going to do is do little Band-Aid fixes. If they're not going to replace everything, then you're just going to see repeats of the same problems. I mean, it's just going to repeat. And I'm not, even as far as Puerto Rico, if they didn't have a good infrastructure to start out with, right? If all the houses and structures weren't, built, if they were more shanty kind of structures and stuff, I'm not going to say they were all shanty kind of structures, but I mean, if they were just poorly constructed, then rebuilding them is going to, I don't know, I just see there are a lot of Band-Aids being put out, and nobody's really taking serious like a long-term plan, a long-term fix.
Well, one of the things that like trips me out when it came to this last election, like no one really concentrated on infrastructure. Whoa, am I? Oh, I'm going in and out. I don't know.
Something just fell.
Well,
All right, let's not move.
keep talking.
Okay, one of the things that tripped me out was no one really concentrated on infrastructure. And when you talk about jobs in America, like the possibility to give millions of people like jobs is kind of renovating our bridges, our water systems, and things of that nature. Not concentrating on like building a wall. It shouldn't even be a priority in any kind of way. But when you talk about bringing jobs to America or having jobs for Americans, well-paying jobs that can pay the bills, how about some renovation on infrastructure? You know, for the people that have just only graduated high school or just necessarily don't have a college degree, these are jobs they can do, and these are jobs for the betterment of the country.
Good take. Good take. Are either one of y'all? Do you all binge on Netflix or any type of video media?
Yeah, occasionally if it's a good show.
All right. Netflix has basically acknowledged that their programming is meant for people to binge.
Yes.
Because they throw out these shows like 10 episodes at a time or whatever. Well, in India, a Netflix super user who watched more than 7 hours a day has admitted he needs help. So he has checked into a Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences to escape Netflix.
Okay.
So
like
they're acknowledging that this is an illness.
Well, from Facebook to World of Warcraft to video games in general, TV, everyone has their own.
I was going with is the video games and all that.
Everyone has their dopamine fix.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
You know,
and form addictions to the drug releases that go on.
Do you all need help with anything?
No,
Now's
not
the
those
time.
means. Like I know
Say your
moderation
name.
is the key.
Hello, I'm Stu Askew, and I need help with.
I let my nerddom like branch out as well as like being like into the sports and everything that I'm into entertainment wise. Therefore, I don't get fixated on one thing, and that becomes my whole reality. And people that fall into like spots like that guy or like anything, they just get kind of like fixated on this one like little aspect, and that becomes their world. There are people that have played World of Warcraft until they like passed out, you know what I'm saying, because they didn't eat for like 3 days. It's when you don't stay in tune to the world around you and you just go into your own like neurological cubby hole, like that's gonna happen.
It could be signs of deeper issues.
Yeah, to say the
There's
least.
something else there.
I doubt that dude's like life was awesome, you know what I'm saying? And then he's like, well, I'll just binge for like, 2 or 3 days. Now I have a problem. That dude was looking for an outlet. It just became Netflix.
Staying with some pop culture topics, do you all eat Little Caesars?
Yes. Well, not in a while, but
Yeah,
pizza.
yeah.
That's wonderful.
Just keep in mind, a Little Caesars, where is this at? Hold on.
I would say it's better than Papa John's. Papa John's is like terrible pizza now. It's like McDonald's pizza.
I don't mind. So here's what I don't understand is how they still have made. It's been $5 for a large pizza forever.
Yeah.
How do they maintain that $5?
Because everyone else is
45
actually
cents to make a pizza.
yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone else is raping us.
Right.
There was there's a Little Caesars. I'm trying to figure out where this is, but a user tweeted a video showing that the in this case the Little Caesars was using DiGiorno's frozen pizza.
That's awesome.
That's badass.
That can't be cost effective, man. That can't be cost
Because actually, well, I don't know.
You're going to a third-party supplier and you're a big chain, that's not cost-effective.
I mean,
Unless, like, Kroger was running one of those, like, 10 for 10 deals, bam, $4 profit.
I wonder if this is a corporate decision or if the franchise owner
no, I
made a
think
decision.
someone went rogue.
Yeah, that sounds like somebody did something in Little Caesars corporate is probably looking bad on that. Looking down on
Kroger's got that 10 for 10, man. You just, like, go in there with the Kroger card,
I
you get
read,
free gas.
according to one of these people or some surveys, the best frozen pizza out there,
No, I'm intrigued.
Tombstone.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
I'd like to take a Pepsi challenge with like 3 or 4 to like win my decision.
Pepsi or Coke, Stu?
I'm Pepsi.
Oh.
I don't drink sodas though.
F off.
I don't drink sodas.
I drink sodas when I'm out, and I'm drinking Coke.
I'm the same here. I'm a Coke guy.
I've literally not like purchased a soft drink in probably like 10 to 12 years.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of bunked out the extra like sugar and BS.
All right. What's your take when it comes to discipline in schools in regards to maybe paddling students?
As cynical as I am when it comes to like this generation and the majority of the millennials that I come across, bring that shit back.
Think so?
Yeah, bring that shit back.
I went to Catholic schools here in Louisville, and we were paddled. My principal, when I was in first and second grade, had a paddle he would pull out with holes drilled in it.
Yeah.
And he would explain it to you that he would
Holes drilled.
Yeah, because of wind resistance. All right, he'd get more speed, and he would tell you that, and you're 7 years old. But they would also call your parents, and they would say, "I'm about to paddle your son. Do we have your permission?" And I don't know why my parents were always like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." But I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this one, only because I don't know if I want somebody else hitting my kid. Mm-hmm. Right? That's. And I think there are good reasons on both ends of the argument. I think both sides have good,
Well, in Oklahoma, a principal was arrested after swatting students so hard that they had welts and trouble sitting and standing. Arrested.
Well, a paddle or a belt's going to give you a welt.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not trying to harm the kid, right? And if you damage them, There should be consequences for that. That's why it's a thin line. Like, how much can I hit your kid or any kid before
I understand
crossing the line?
The whole thing, like when it's someone else's child, like some people might not want, physical discipline, but I think when you talk about the fine line, there's a fine line between physical discipline and abuse. And like a paddling is going to leave like a mark or a whelp or something of that nature. It's something that kind of like gives you a reminder of what you did wrong, and that's the sole reason why you get paddled. Mm-hmm. If it was something that dissipated in like 30 seconds and there was, you sat back down, you're fine, then what did you really learn? It's like when my mother would spank us, and of course when our father would. My mother spanked us, it was laughable, If our father, threatened to spank us, it was like, wow, we better sharpen up. And, so like as far as being arrested for it, that's silly because that's the whole point of a paddling. Mm-hmm. They'll leave like a little bit of a,
so is
temporary wound.
Is fear a better teacher than reason? Because if I want to sit down, you can sit down and not treat your child like an adult, but you can have some type of reasonable conversation as to why they did something wrong, what their punishments will be, or you could look at it as,
the taking away the cell phone these days is a very
it's a dagger.
Well, in this day and age, I can see that as like a reasonable punishment. But it's my opinion that like someone under the age of like 10 and under shouldn't have a cell phone.
Well, that's true.
You know what I mean?
And you're not.
And that's a good point. You're not. That's okay.
So
no,
like,
fair point.
anyone you're spanking, it's like it's just more of like a disciplinary thing, and like it's not so much fear, but it's like a way of teaching them that there are consequences. You can have that conversation after the fact, so you let them know that you weren't doing this to instill fear, or like you weren't doing this to be abusive. But like, hey, there are consequences.
It's bad. I'm just saying that if teaching violence, because they learn from that, right? They're learning that adults are resulting to violence as a way to intimidate and discourage, right?
That's why you have the conversation after the fact, though.
Right.
Let them know it's like, hey, I love you, but I had to give you a spanking.
Plain devil's advocate. I see both sides of the argument. Like, I can see that it can be effective and also how it can be damaging in the long term,
Check us out, guys. There's an app now that if you say, hey Siri, I'm getting pulled over, the app allows drivers to record interactions with police.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
I think that's a great app. Whoever made that app, big ups to you.
I think only a few people in a city should be able to turn off a police body cam. I don't think police should have access to the power button or the mute button.
Right.
I think if everything is on tape, then it's really hard to say what didn't happen.
Yeah, you have that transparency. Mm-hmm. And like anytime someone would like fool with their on-deck camera or body cam, it's like, why would you do that unless you were going to do something that was out of bounds?
Gotcha.
And whoever's in Silicon Valley that came up with that app, kudos to them. I hope they're a millionaire.
All right.
I might download it as we speak.
Last two topics, and these are more of a lighthearted. Man's vision changes after taking high dose of erectile dysfunction drug. His vision, he started seeing red.
Oh, God.
So I don't know if you all are hitting the blue pill or
no.
All right, but if you do, then keep that in mind. It apparently affects your vision.
Well, he probably shot his eye out. That's on him.
He was beating off all the time. That makes you go blind.
Yeah,
that's what I heard.
There you go. Apparently, the old adage is real. Like it makes you go blind. You can't put that on the pill.
Exactly.
After 4 hours, it's
last one for you guys. A rock that was used as a doorstop for the past 30 years.
$100,000.
Turned out to be valued at $100,000 because it was a meteorite.
What?
Yes. For 30 years, this person or people were sitting, using this rock as a doorstop. And I would be hitting I would have not used this doorstop because I would have walked and tripped and stumped my toe, and then I would have probably threw the rock out. But turns out to be a meteorite, and it valued at $100,000.
I wonder how did he just have some NASA scientist walked through his house.
That's what I'm
what do you got that on that for?
That's the more intriguing. I'm pulling up the article because I want to see how did this even get to the point where they figured out that.
Dude, if I knew that as a kid, I would have gone hunting for more rocks, you know?
Well, you know it now. Go hunting for rocks.
Hey, I might hit the parking lot after we're done with this, man. Just
get better luck in Arizona.
Find me some quartz.
I am trying to. Let me see how they actually stumbled on the fact that this turned out to be a 22-pound rock that had been propping open a door in Michigan for decades. Turns out to be
someone just. That's funny, like someone from NASA is like, wow.
This
you
professor gets asked all the time to examine rocks brought to her. All right.
So a geologist was just like called in. We want to look at our doorstop and let us know.
Got curious about their doorstop.
Yeah,
it's been a family argument for years now.
I think it's worth something, but she thinks it's just a doorstop. You examine this.
The rock arrived on Earth sometime in the 30s, and yeah.
I just saw the Venom movie. I hope there's not like a symbiote in there.
So I went to the Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles, and while I was there, the head of the observatory was just walking around randomly talking to people, right? And he had a meteorite with him that was older than the planet Earth. I thought that was really, really neat. It was pure iron. It was older than the Earth, and he was like, "Would you like to touch it?" And I was like, "Yes."
This is how it got.
So it was older than 6,000 years,
right?
For the past 30 years, it was used as a doorstop, and the owner sent it off to school with his children for show and tell. That's how it got.
Okay.
Someone looked at it and was like, "Hey, now."
Did they sell it? Fuck that rock, dude. I'd buy a doorstop from Walmart for $10 and boom.
I don't know why the teacher didn't go to the kids like, "Why don't you let me have that rock?"
You get $20 for that
he has
rock.
not sold it. He's considering. There's a museum in the Mineral Smithsonian is considering purchasing the rock for display. The sales go through. The man has agreed to give 10% of the sale value to the university for study.
Smithsonian has so many rocks.
Exactly. What's your one more?
A ton of rocks.
All right, guys. What did we not talk about tonight that you want to bring up?
Well, there was the article on the guys in America not knowing the 7 signs of what no means no.
Oh, yeah. I did send that. 7 reasons so many guys don't understand sexual content. Let me...
Consent?
Sexual consent.
Yeah. You're right. Consent, right.
Like, I was always one of those guys, especially being a black man, who would sometimes stay out of the race in high school. Sometimes.
And that whole stereotype thing.
Yeah, well, anytime, like, a girl, like, was even slightly apprehensive, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, this is all over. A lot of times, chicks would be like, oh, no, I didn't mean that, but it's kind of one of those...
That's your chick voice?
No, yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't mean that.
I was fooled.
But... It always kind of like made it awkward for me in conversations with guys, especially like in college, where it kind of seemed like they had that James Bond mentality. Like, I'll just keep pressing and pressing and pressing, and then it was all good. She did this or did that. And I think that in this day and age, like, especially with the generation that's seen a lot more than we did growing up, it's got to be worse.
Well, here's the 7. Number 7, forcing yourself on women makes them love you.
James Bond.
James Bond. Let's see.
I want you. I want you. I want you. I want you.
These are 7 things that most men believe. Is that?
I would just say
7 reasons so many guys don't understand sexual consent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think it's pretty easy to understand.
I think we're all victims. This is going to sound a little weird. We are all victims of the patriarchy, right? The patriarchy isn't just like this. Isn't this construct made up by men to control women? Right? It's a construct made up by society where men are placed in a higher position than women.
Yeah.
But we are all victims of it. The idea that when guys feel like it's all on us to go out and hit on the women and then we have to pay for them and all that, that's because the patriarchy expects us to be the money winners and all that. That taking that out, or expanding that to what this is, talking about this, if we are victims in this regard, right, even the guys are subject to it, we're learned this stuff, right? We grow up thinking
It is learned behavior.
It is
right.
learned behavior, and it is going to take time and, unfortunately,
Undo that.
education to undo that. So we have to listen to women.
Right.
We have to listen to what they're telling us, and then we have to put it into practice, right? And it's not like... It's very easy for a guy to take a liberal stance and be like, I'm going to stand up for women and all that, and then in the very next sentence turn to a woman and mansplain to her, about what sexual assault is in America, and we need to not do that, right?
After she gets me a sandwich.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm just saying it's something that we learned over a long period of time, and it's going to take time to peel it back.
Right.
Relearn.
More women politicians.
There you go. Number 6, asking permission is a sign of weakness.
That's the whole, you got to be a strong man, and that's what women want. They want the man. I think if you beg, that's bad, as far as ask for permission. But there are ways to ask that don't sound like you're like, hey, please, can I touch your breast? Do you mind if I touch your breast?
Number 5, women this is the men mentality. Women like to be pursued and thus always play hard to get.
James Bond, once again. I'm telling you, James Bond, dude, he's a little rapey. And I'm talking about all of them, not just Daniel Craig.
Bond in this movement now?
But
he would be how many lawsuits would he have now?
My name is Bond, Rape Bond.
The internet's slow here.
It's.
I don't know to say that's. I don't know to say that women don't like to be pursued, right? It's about how you pursue, and if they say no, do you continue to pursue? You know what I'm saying? Like if that no should be enough. Like they don't maybe.
Well, everyone, men and women, they want to be wanted. There's a thing that says, no one wants to be looked over, but they don't want to be looked over too much. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Number 4, everything women do is intended to stoke male hunger.
That's
pretty narcissistic.
Yeah, that's kind of jackasses.
Yeah.
Like I dress nice because I want you to grab my skirt.
I kind of question the writer of this article.
Yeah, I mean it's
because I don't know a lot of guys who think like that. I don't know many. I'm sure there might be, but I don't know many.
I tell
who
you,
are
probably in a
we don't hang around douchebags.
Yeah, that's just it. You are basically the company you keep.
Yeah.
Number 3, sexual assault equals guy in an alley with a knife.
That's just silly.
That's
who is the writer of this? Sexual assault equals frat guy plus.
There you go. Equals appointed. Number 2, all sex outside of a heterosexual marriage is wrong.
What? Guys think that?
Who wrote this? Who wrote this?
I don't even care what's number 1.
I will toss this. This is going to be off topic because you said, is there anything you want to talk about?
Go ahead.
I read this last night. It kind of just stopped me because I haven't heard it anywhere on the news or anything. So the deputy or assistant attorney general in Russia, right, who is also the boss of Natalia Veselnitskaya.
Killed, right?
He died in a helicopter crash in an unauthorized flight, right? He crashed into a forest, and he had the helicopter unauthorized.
Red flag. This is right out of a movie.
Putin is known for taking out officials and diplomats and oligarchs that he doesn't like. He'll put them in prison. But this is the assistant attorney general,
exactly,
right? Who had just came out recently that he was working with Veselnitskaya to recruit for influence campaigns, right? To send her out to other countries like Latvia and Estonia and Georgia and the Ukraine, right? And the Mayflower Hotel meeting in the United States.
Putin's go-to move is when he looks at his guy and does.
it's basically you know too much, and now they know that they're on to you, right?
Yes.
And so they're investigating your play in
So
this.
before they get to you, you get 86.
So he died in a helicopter accident.
Wow. Yeah.
It gets thicker.
All right, guys. Trending news for the night as we conclude our night. We get to go watch Kevin sing some songs.
It's been a pleasure as always, Mr. Hale.
Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Some a fresh voice. Exactly. So, and he gave us a little bit of a different side.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need that. We need to be a little challenged because we do get criticized of leaning too much to the left.
We get a little tribal.
But you know what? We try to invite people who may challenge our thought process.
They keep ducking us.
So
They keep ducking us.
Anyways,
All right.
good show tonight. Thanks, guys.
Good
Thank
times.
you.